Hey guys, I'm
Hello,
here with Rogue.
everyone.
Yes, we're gonna do another Yap
Yay!
session. Looking
I
super
know.
forward to this. So today I feel like we're gonna talk about quite a few things. I know Rogue wants to touch on the Jesse on Fire latest updates. I want to touch on the Erika Kirk series with Candace Owens, and then we should probably do a couple Iran war updates just because that's what's
Yeah, I
actually going
figured
on.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think that's
agreed.
what we're up to today. Rogue, do you want to kick us off in the your thoughts on Jesse on Fire and everything that's going on?
Yeah, I was literally just taking notes because I was just in his live stream because I assume maybe he's even still live now. But for anyone who doesn't follow Jesse, he's been doing an entire series in regards to his theory on Charlie Kirk. And that theory is that Charlie is not dead, that there was a elaborate plan taking place. And I'm not going to lie, like you I feel this way about almost every situation that's ever discussed anyway though. But you can take his this whole situation and you can apply it to everything he's saying. It does work and it does make sense. Like,
Yeah.
when you break every little bit down, it's like, yeah, I can see why, you know, you could get to that point because it absolutely would make sense as to why so many people are acting bizarre and they're not acting well because it feels very unnatural because they all knew this was kind of the thing and they thought they could do a better job of it. There's a lot to it, and that's like the tip of the iceberg. Um,
Yeah,
but
so Jesse is basically saying like there's a reason everyone's kind of acting this way, and he gives out like a full breakdown of that. I've only been able to
like
watch a
why
few
we
bits
get
of it.
weird vibes about Erica,
Yes, that was the first
why
video.
nothing's lining up because essentially they had this grand plan, but they weren't anticipating the sleuths to like dive bomb on this like a bunch of fucking seagulls at the beach, and that's what's happening. And so now it's kind of screwing up things that they didn't think would be a problem, right?
Yeah, so Charlie is
But
somewhere on a beach right now, controlling from the sidelines.
right.
Unfortunately, Candace Owens exists, and all of the people who kind of
Well, and
felt
that's
that
the
same
part
way.
that I think makes me feel like I that's one of the reasons I don't think I believe that, because Charlie knew Candace, and I can't fathom that he would think she would ever let it down because I don't know about you, but the whole Brigitte Macron thing had already happened, and she had already been threatened how many times, and she never backed down, and she's never shown any sign of wanting to back down. And so
Right.
to imagine that they didn't that they thought they could unless, like he said, unless she were involved and this was her part, which
Mhm.
again, okay, maybe. You can make anything fit if you want. But the problem is it's riled up so many other people who are like now wanting to do the same thing.
Yeah,
But
I feel like Dee said it a while back. I don't know if you saw when Dee said it, but he was like, "The way everyone's acting, it feels like a psyop. It feels like something's going on. It feels like maybe he's still alive." I know my dad does not believe he was pow taken out. Like, and my dad is
mine doesn't either,
yes, he's
actually.
like the biggest conspiracy theorist in the world.
Mine
I'm
too.
I'm like, so
So
I
funny.
know that he's watched a bunch of stuff that even I haven't. We don't like live by each other, so we're just comparing notes every once in a while. And I still am like, I don't know if I really can buy it yet. I don't know, but he's like dead
Like, I
believes.
can see that if I dove in and I could justify some of the things that make me like pause on the theory, I could easily be convinced of it because there would be crazier things that our world has done over the centuries. But I think one of the things that's always bothered me about the idea is A, that Charlie would be fine with traumatizing so many people because legit, even if even if it were fake or whatever, like there's a lot of people who are there physically, and there's a lot of people, like we've talked to before, people react to things very differently. And I didn't take Charlie as a inconsiderate or, um, illogical person. So I would think that it would be safe to say, I mean, we've talked about things that have happened like October 7th and whatever, and those videos that we see online and how traumatizing they are to the people who are forced to see them because they're just in their feed, right? Like those are conversations a lot of people have had. And so I find it like far-fetched that he would be okay with that. Doesn't mean I knew him, so I could be wrong, and it doesn't
Right.
mean like what he believed being more important trumped that. But But one of the things that is part of his theory is that and you can clarify if you understand this perspective differently, because I haven't dove in and listened to like the full length thing, so maybe the bits and pieces I've gotten aren't accurate. So if somebody understands more so this part of Jesse's theory, let me know.
Yeah,
But
let us know in the chat.
essentially he's talking about how the idea was to like solidify the left as being like um
The enemy.
the biggest problem, right? The enemy, right? And so my issue with that is, for the most part, most of us are able to recognize that while some of the behavior of the opposing political side seems crazy to you, most people, and I would say like, I think that this applies to most of the population in general, even though we see the crazy stuff forced in our faces so much and the people who disagree so strongly forced in our faces so much. But the reality is the majority of us who have a reasonable head on our shoulders recognize that we're all feeling the way we are because of manipulation and the things that have been taking place, and that it's not necessarily logical, but it's manufactured. And knowing that, for the most part, people who are intelligent and compassionate can recognize that these people have these feelings and they're very real for them. And they're having like a very emotional response because that was the goal. And it's not who they are, and it doesn't make them bad people. And I do think that he would have been someone with that perspective. So the idea of pitting everyone against one entire group of people, I just don't think seems like something somebody who is compassionate and caring would want, even if it would have an end goal of like getting your party in the office, or like, to me that seems like you're pitting. Aren't you setting up like a civil war essentially then, kind of, with the people? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that
and I
part to
think
me I don't like.
Charlie had a very middle ground perspective
Yeah,
relative
he did.
to, if you think about actually Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, even Tucker Carlson, they had more, and especially at this time, more extreme views. Now, I think more people have moved to that side of the aisle with how extreme everything has gotten. But like, if you think about it, Charlie was
Right.
for H-1B visas. He was for, legal immigration. Like some people are like, no, close the
He
borders
wasn't
down,
even
kick
a dick
everybody
about
out.
people who were, like, gay and whatever.
No.
He just was like, "I wanna understand why and try and see if, like, it's something that you can get help with if you think it's something you need help with." Like, he still wasn't even like, do you know what I mean? So,
Yes.
for me, it just feels like doing that feels really extreme. Like, we're watching that happen all the time, and we're constantly talking about the manipulation that is caused by media and whatever, and that's just, like, it on a grand scale, and it just, to what end? You know what I mean? To trick people into the solution you think we need? I don't see that as being,
He
I don't
wanted
know.
to win from my perspective. Now, I don't know the man, but in the marketplace of ideas, that was his tag.
Right.
That was a prove me wrong. And so he would have rather proved you wrong than go out by some
By
assassination.
manipulating you and making you think one thing when it wasn't. I just don't think that's what he would do, and I don't know him. Everybody can be bought, I suppose. Um, and then the other thing was more of like a silly thing, like he was talking about that Snake Eyes movie, which admittedly, I have not watched the Snake Eyes movie, but I know all the, I know most of like at least the ones that are being talked about, like the synchronicities between the movie and the situation, which is definitely intriguing for sure. And his idea was that, these people utilized the movie as like a basis. Well, that's just stupid though. Like, I just think it's stupid because we have the internet and we have people who will be like, "Oh shit, I saw this before in a movie," and it's
Right,
going to become a thing. So that also just seems like, as like, if it were like a military operation, that just seems stupid too, to base it off
right,
of a movie, especially one with like Nicolas Cage. Even if it was a flop at the time, which I don't know if it was or wasn't, but even if it was, he's not like the smallest actor. If it was like some sort of like independent film nobody knew about, sure. But
right.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think I could see where he was like, because a lot of people will say things like they have to show us before they can do it. That's kind of a common
yeah,
conspiracy theory trope is like they'll
that's what I was
go,
saying about, like, the
yes,
wax museums. Yeah.
yes, like they have to do that. So I can see why, but I will say I didn't see a one for one parallel in the Snake Eyes thing versus the Charlie Kirk things. What I
No.
saw was a few coincidences.
And
I didn't,
even still, like, that one that was, like, the 910, I still think that wasn't 910. I think it was, like, 919, or, like, I don't think it was 910 because I saw in another clip the date was different in another one. I don't think it was actually 910. I think it was, like, 919 or 16 or something like that. It was, like, but blurry and hard to see.
Yeah.
I'm
I
pretty
think there's
sure.
enough with this case that you don't need to pull out a lot of strings. There's already a lot of
Right.
really weird stuff. I don't think you need to pull out the snake eyes option where you
Well,
could just
and I
pull out, like,
think that,
is this
like,
somebody who was a former operative that came into his life and all these people surrounding him coincidentally at a
yeah.
similar time? I mean, that's enough of a storyline to tell you something's up. I'm not saying one way or another because we don't know 100%, but you
Yeah.
don't need to throw, like, I can't see him faking it.
Yeah.
But if he did,
I just think
he
purely
really pulled
based
it
on the
off.
fact that, like, it would be like grand scale manipulation on people's psyche, and I don't see him wanting I would think he would like hard stance against that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
unless he had, like, gun to his head, right?
That's
And
what
that
I'm
doesn't
saying,
mean
and
that he
unless we
didn't.
don't know the reasoning behind
Yes.
it.
Gun to his
But
head, maybe. Gun to his
yeah,
head and, like, he can see his kids in a few months. I
right.
could see if you're giving me that option where it's like, we're gonna either take you out or you should like, take yourself out. That's what
Yeah,
I could see. Give me one
yeah.
second.
But yeah, no, I agree. Um, but I love that Jesse's exploring this idea because obviously, we need to explore all ideas because we just don't know what's right and what's wrong. So we can't ignore things like that. And his points are valid. And
Right.
like we always say, you don't know anyone. We were talking about this the other day. You can live with someone day in and day out. You could birth them and you still don't know the 90% of the thoughts that go through their head on a regular basis. So, it's not like we can sit here and act like I know for sure he would never do that. But based on what we know of him and his behavior and the things he said passionately, I feel like it's safe to say that seems extremely out of character for him. But, you know, who am
Yeah.
I? What do I know?
Sorry, had a little one knocking at the door and then the dogs were barking.
You're good.
It was
You're good.
crazy. Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like, but, like, the world is a stage and they say that. So I can see why Dee Dee and Jesse said it because we felt like so many times it's just been a huge psyop one way or
Well,
another.
and in
So
addition to that, I feel like and Jesse's point too, and just in the sense of like where his perspective, like the direction he's coming from is essentially in Charlie's mind, this is the better choice for people's mental health and people's well-being. You know what I mean? Because if it goes the other way in his mind, everything's gonna collapse. So it's worth a risk. Do you know what I mean? And I can
oh,
see
meaning, like,
that,
if
like, his
people
purpose
were
behind doing it and being okay with, like, manipulating people in this way would be because in his mind it would have to be because in his mind, the outcome long term would be better for the people. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay,
Mhm.
well, it's worth this for this outcome. But that's assuming you know the best outcome for everyone, which is a naive thought to have.
Right, and I like
You know what I
what Roy
mean?
says here. All the defense has to do is prove reasonable doubt the FBI narrative doesn't work. So it doesn't work. I think that's why there's so many
That's
conflicting
why it's gone
theories.
so crazy, yeah, and the
Yeah.
problem is I feel like if this is intentional on in whatever way, whether he truly was assassinated and it was a setup and whether, or whether it was a planned thing, I don't believe that we'll see necessarily them say, "Well, reasonable doubt." I feel like they'll say, "Nope, for sure, that was it." You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem. Everyone's like, "We'll see what happens in the trial," and I'm like, "Sure."
Yeah. Well, I it it it's hard to tell if he'll have a fair trial or not. And maybe
Right.
they just don't
And
care.
even if we thought it was, maybe it wasn't.
Even if
It's
he
just
got, like, what if he got thrown out? They'd still be like, "Well, we have no more leads. That's all we have." And we'd
yeah,
be like, "Okay,
yeah.
well, what about this, and this? What
Because the
about the
reality
discord
is
chats?"
when it
And
comes down to it, it still comes down to a group of people. If those people say, "Yeah, no, I know that you think that's reasonable doubt, I don't." So, you know what I mean?
yeah.
It doesn't take away the fact that people can still either be bought and paid for to make their own determination, and that's that. We just will never
Mhm.
truly I think anybody who genuinely has true concerns about our government and the things they manipulate, they're never gonna no matter what way it goes, someone,
Right.
whether it's this side or this side, is going to believe that it was manipulated and we were lied to, you know?
I agree, and I think the problem is the patterns, right? Because we know we were lied to about the USS Liberty. We were lied to about why we were getting into World War One and World War Two. We were lied
We were
to
lied to about 9/11. I don't care what anybody
nine
says.
11, of
If
course,
you can't
right?
see that, I'm so sorry, but
And like Candace said it's on our show, and it's so perfect. And like at the time when 9/11 was going on, I was a child, so I would have nothing to do with the say, and like we have any say going to war. But they said the Saudis drove the plane into our towers, but then we went to Afghanistan. It's like because what us Westerners don't know where these two different areas of the country, like of the Middle East, are, so they
yes.
convinced us to go.
Yes. Do
Yeah,
they all
that
wear funny hats? Yeah, that's
yes,
them. Like, that's what it
exactly.
is.
Well, and you know,
Well, and part of
whatever.
that comes down to, like, dumb us down, because the dumber we are, the
Oh,
less
dumb us
we
down.
object. Dumb
I
us
heard
down.
something else. I was like,
But
oh,
yeah, dumb us down. The
dumb
less
us
we
down.
know, the less we truly know, the more they can control, because we just and we're so busy, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're too busy to study up and learn like, who has time to read about history? Like, shit, I learned about that in high school. I don't have time to spend on it now. You know, like,
Right.
most people are too busy for even the news, the daily news, let alone learning about our history. So
One of the
the
R
dumber we
child,
are,
one of the R childs just tweeted. That's what I'm gonna say for
our
YouTube
child, yeah.
purposes. R childs. So apparently he just tweeted the winners in history or the winners in war write history. He said that in a tweet in front of God and
Yeah.
everyone. And it's like, we know you think that because history has been rewritten for the victors. And that's just
Mhm.
kind of what's been happening and how we've all been psyops.
Who's
So,
ever a winner in war? This is the
right.
dumbest shit I've ever heard.
But they think well, whoever siphoned off the most money, whoever did the most deals, whoever made the best bets, whoever took out the
Well,
biggest
Justin was
insurance
also
policy.
talking about, and I was busy, so I wasn't like super invested. And I don't know, I know you were watching some of it. I don't know how much you watched, but he
Mhm.
was also talking about um, the side of it having to do with like AI and new technology.
Mhm.
Do you know what he was saying about that? Like, about like, if that was he was saying that he believes that was also part of it, like them trying to like utilize it for, I don't know,
I missed
maybe
it,
someone
but
else
I do know
listening.
they're trying to get AI into like our drones, which would mean just but I know like as a weapon of war,
Yeah.
obviously. That's the only thing I can think of though. I don't know exactly what he was getting at with that.
I assume this had to do with banking and centralized currency and digital you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they
I
are
think
trying
it
to
has
get
to
us
do with
all into
that,
that. Well, yeah,
which
because
does
they
frustrate
put
me because, like, I'm against, like, most of that stuff, obviously, and,
yeah.
like, one of the things that pissed me off was, the real IDs.
Mhm.
We had to get those. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
about you,
same.
but, like, I
Yep.
had to get it, and this
Mhm.
was many years ago at this point. I think I was actually pregnant with my 6-year-old, so I was forced to get it, like, 6 plus years ago,
Mhm.
and, at that time, none of this was on my radar,
Right.
but those are digital IDs, so we're
Right.
already screwed.
We're already there.
It's
It's
like
like
I
they
didn't even have the ability to object to needing to get it before
well, they
I knew I had
slowly
it.
walk you to the slaughter. Just like
Yeah,
right
yeah.
by right by right
They're
it's
that
taken.
but that's just a good example of how early
Yes.
the
Oh, yeah.
planning starts, like, we weren't even talking about Palantir, we weren't talking about any of this, we're talking about before Trump's 2nd term, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
none of this was stuff we were talking about on YouTube or anything like that at that time, and so when it was like, "Shit, I gotta get an ID. Oh, I have to get this one," you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even
Mhm.
something you thought about, and now it's like, "Well, now I have no freaking choice, do I?"
Right, yeah, I had to
It's
get it
so
on
beyond
my yeah.
frustrating.
I had to get it too, and that's the other thing, it's like when
Same
you're
thing
with
with this car stuff coming up.
yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like they want more and more control. They fight within the billionaire class to get more and more control. And then we end up are like but they can do whatever they want. This is why this pisses me off because they have private jets. They go wherever they want. They do whatever
Yeah.
they want. They get away with the
No real
Epstein
ID
file stuff.
matters to them. They don't
No,
have
none of
yeah.
that stuff matters. They have
IDs don't even matter to them.
no, they show like they just go wherever they want. They do whatever they want. And but we have to go under some control. It's like, what do we even bother you? Like I'm gonna just put out another perspective. How the hell does anything us peons do affect you really? Like, come on, you guys live your own lives. Like, why are you so
I know,
concerned
like,
about what we do? in
If
that
you've been able
way.
to get away with the things that we're reading in these files, for however long, how much are we really impacting your day to day? I mean,
Yeah.
you get our money already, so what else? It's
I
because
do
it
not
comes down to so
understand
much
that.
more than that, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think it's because it comes down to, like, global stuff, it all trickles down from the highest of high, which is essentially global order and how we can be manipulated as an entire world population. That's what I think.
I
And then
agree, but
all the little
they've
bits
they
separate and become their own little scenarios and situations that, you know,
they already
spawn
offer,
from
like,
there.
they already act like that. They've been acting like that
Mhm.
for as long as we know. So, I think it's just, when people debate whether it's a spiritual thing or not, I think it is to break human spirit and take your
Yeah.
sovereignty, and they can live on a high life. Because if you think
Yeah.
about it, what do you and I do on the daily basis that really truly impacts these people? Not very much.
Yeah, I think the reality probably comes down to them being afraid that at any point they could lose that control, so they wanna do everything they can to ensure that that's not possible. Like, every little bit of, like, people becoming more vocal on social media, getting bigger audiences, having bigger voices, like, all of those things are threatening their security in their world. And so whatever they can do to say, well, this is all going to become a problem. How are we going to nip that before it's a problem? And it all just continues to build and spawn and spawn.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Um, what I'm trying to think, is there anything else in the Jesse stuff that we wanted to talk about? I'm trying to think of another part of the theory. I think a lot of people were referencing just, I mean, we said it a little bit, but just the lack of emotions from everyone across the board. Like
Yeah.
the speeches that were, I think, like after Erika Kirk walked out and gave her like speech basically at Charlie Kirk's desk, it seemed like she was kind of flat, didn't show a ton of emotion, kind of, we know the fake crying type look. And I think that is, like Jesse was saying, he couldn't even barely watch that. He could watch it to like up to
Yeah.
the 30-second mark. But he said when you go back and watch their old videos, you can watch them. It's not a big deal. You don't feel like you're being manipulated it. You don't feel like you have an icky
Yeah.
feeling. I think that is why everyone went down these rabbit holes, especially on the Erika Kirk stuff, because it makes you feel like I can't watch anymore. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
watch. Well, I felt when I've had to cover a couple of her interviews just for time's sake to see how she was before and now. I physically would say in the video, like, I can barely do this, guys. Like this is driving me crazy because I
I
felt
the visceral reaction
icky.
I had to like the casket one, like, kills me. Like, the
Oh
I and
yes.
watching actually, that was funny because Jesse, it wasn't even that long ago, first saw that scene
Hmm.
because he was on a live stream, and that came on, and he was like, "Oh, oh, oh," and he was so grossed out, and he was like, "I've intentionally not watched that just because, like, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to." He's like, "But I just did by accident, and oh." And I was like, that was
Yes.
my reaction. I immediately was, like, so weirded out. Like, it's like, I don't even have words for this, like,
Right.
just no.
I I think too when his hands looked really fake, and I think Baron Coleman has touched on this on his, where it's like maybe they had to put a lot of makeup on him if they got
Well, actually,
singed.
Lauren, the mortician, had a episode where she talked about his
What'd she say?
hands. I love her. She was saying they looked like she would expect them to. Um,
Okay.
I mean, the only thing she didn't reference that people have brought up is, like, the size comparison to their
Mhm.
hands. But I also think that's hard given, like, the situation, like, if her hand's covering half of his, maybe his palms are longer than, like, you know what I mean? Maybe the
Yeah.
proportions aren't I don't know. Like, it's just too hard to tell, but she did say, like, the coloring, because people were, like, weirded out by the
Yeah.
coloring of his skin, and she's like, this is what it would look like," like,
Right.
and there was some, like, imperfections on his hand, and you would kind of think that, like, they wouldn't add that if he didn't have an injury on his hand or they didn't something hadn't already been attempted, maybe at the hospital or
Mhm.
something. There was some, like, bruising on the top of his hand or something.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, I again, we've talked about this in our Discord where I feel like this is a perfect example of I mean, the Discord where we've we've been talking a lot about like how we can all assist each other in like any of the things we're investigating, whether it's Epstein, whether it's the war in Iran, whether it's Charlie
Mhm.
Kirk, like all of these things. And we each have experience, life experience, and we all have, expertise in one area or another. And so to me, it's like, well, let's all talk about what our expertise is, and we can know that, we're bringing something unique to the table, etc. It's the same thing on a grand scale when it comes to this, like Jesse called it, like an open source investigation that is just the public.
Right,
That's what's happening here on YouTube, but on a larger scale. That's why I love like people like Lauren the Mortician is doing stuff on it. She doesn't have to. She could just do regular content. But the fact of the matter is we have people who are, do have experience in these completely different areas, wolves in finance and
right,
all of these different segments of life, and they are giving their opinion. And I think it's incredible. I think that's how we need to be as a society as a whole. And we've gotten away from it. We worry too much about who you voted for versus sharing knowledge and
right.
perspective.
Yeah, I agree. Also, big thank you for the super. And he said our stream is listed on YouTube features, which is pretty sick.
Ooh,
That's
that's fun.
awesome. So
Well, then subscribe, guys, because
yeah,
I'm still just a little baby, like unmonetized little baby channel, but
yeah. Go
I'm
see Rogue
having a lot of
Dissident,
fun. So excited. Subscribe if you're not, to both of us, of course. And
of
we've been
course.
having a lot of fun doing our lives together. We feel, we didn't know each other before all this. We only
No,
just really started interacting, what, like a month ago or so? It's about a month ago.
yeah. I think.
And
I no. Let's go back. I messaged you and okay, you messaged me on a
it's
video.
funny.
We'll just tell them.
Yeah, I
We
commented on a video and
You
said we should
commented
do
on a
something
video, so
together.
we should collab. And then I emailed you maybe 1 or 2 weeks later because I was like, oh, I need to follow up with her. It was the wrong email address.
I never got it because my email address was an old one and I didn't realize, yeah.
And yeah, and then I finally messaged her again. I was like, "Hey, do you want to collab?" And she's like,
You
"Oh
commented
yes."
on a
I
video and I
I
was like, "Oh, snap." So I was like, "Wait, my email's in there." And then I was like, "Oh, no."
That's the wrong one, and it was a month to the day. Like I literally reached
Yeah.
back out to her months to the day, so it was all divine timing, as we'd
Yeah,
like to
yeah, it
say. But
was. And then
yeah,
we've just like we were just talking yesterday about just like the plethora of like explosion of things that has happened like on the backside since like the two of us have started um, you
yeah,
know,
we've met some cool people.
connecting, and I'm like, this is just, it just feels right. So, like, yeah, I don't know how often we just kind of are like, we weren't planning on going live today, but just figured why not. We
No,
do have a general idea to do this like once a week. And that's this like steady plan, but like we're just kind of like whatever, I mean,
if we have
and I
thoughts
have had
for
a hard time getting like my individual videos done just between like my kids are just back to school from break, and I couldn't like get away time without a 6-year-old inside my sphincter, and I just couldn't get any time to do it. So this helps me keep content going, but
I agree, and it's fun
and it's
because
just fun. It's
it's
fun. We
more
just get
fun to
along
go live with
well. Yeah.
people. Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
fun. I think it's super cool. Bae's actually and I have been talking, so we might do one too. So,
Cool. Yeah.
sky's the limit with all of
And
that fun
obviously,
stuff.
yeah, and we can do it with multiple people,
Yes.
obviously, which is cool. Like we can have a lot, and I love it too because again, like we don't have anything planned right now, but what's so nice about this is we all have our own opinions about things. And if you have people, like mature people like this, who can have a conversation without, you know, having hurt buttholes because it's different from their own opinion, like it's fantastic. Because guess what? I'm getting smarter from their smarts and they're getting smarter from my smarts. And we're all smarter in the end. And it's
Yes.
great.
Want to throw this out. Zero just said TPUSA definitely did not consider the specialties of the hive mind that is the YouTube collective. I have seen that
Yep.
most amazing results in the collective working towards a goal. I totally agree. I feel like everyone's had a hand in trying to figure out different parts of this puzzle. People love to hate on Reddit, but a lot of good research actually happened in Reddit and then got passed on to creators. So I just want to say shout out Reddit, even if no one else likes it. I found a good bunch of leads there and I did my own investigation
Yeah.
from there. And so it's just cool because people will go on and you wouldn't think, oh, anyone would find anything if you go on Reddit or any other source. But you can, and it's super fun. So it's been
Well,
a
and it's
blast.
rewarding because for us, like, we recognize that not everyone has the time. Like, we've said this before, like, people watch individuals because of their personality. Like, you might want to watch our recap of like all the stuff everyone's already talking about because you just, you know, mesh with our personalities better. And that's just how the world works. We, gravitate towards people who are similar minded, who have perspectives that match our own. And, we happen to be in positions right now where we have a little bit of extra time to do that additional research. Because essentially, all I do is consume content and do research in my free time. So most people
Same.
can't do that. I spend a
No.
lot of time doing that, almost to the point where I don't even want to tell people how much time I spend doing that, but it's the reality of doing this.
Mhm.
And not everyone can do that, but it's also really important that people can go somewhere and have a non-mainstream media perspective. And even if that's just people like us recapping and giving our own personal opinions, that's beneficial in my mind. At least I hope
Right.
so, and I think so. So,
Agree.
yeah.
Um, okay, do we want to bust into the Erika Kirk saga? I want to know what your thoughts are on Candace Owens' current coverage. I know you said you didn't get to see tonight yet, but
Yeah, I
for
haven't watched
that's
everything yet.
that's totally fine. I
Yeah.
feel like we should just talk about what she's kind of covered so far. Do you think she's on target? Do you
Yeah, I
think we're
feel like
missing
we
stuff?
had such a crazy day yesterday. Like, we won't go into, like, the craziness
It
of, like,
was
things that were happening outside of, like, this YouTube video and live stream, but there was so much that I feel like my brain went and, like,
yeah.
shit just disappeared. So I'm gonna need to take a second. So if you have something, like, already on the
Yes.
tippy toppy of your brain, go
I'll
up
give
for it
a
because
quick
'cause it'll
recap.
spawn new stuff from mine.
Yes, I'll give a quick recap. So, latest episode today is talking about the missing years where she was in most likely Eastern Europe and Romania, which I think a lot of people already knew. The alleged grooming via pageants. So I think we've all kind of deduced that allegedly. You don't normally get into those spaces without at least a hand up, I would say. And that's me
Well,
being
and
polite.
it's not like a small commitment. Like, those are
No.
huge commitments. And Candace goes over this specifically about, like, the structure of it. Like, you might win this pageant, that means, like, the next year you're committed to being the pageant winner and involved in whatever that entails. So it's not a small thing. And it's not a small thing anyway, because we all know, like, that stuff's expensive. It's the same as, like, any kind of, like, whatever, cheer, sport where people drop tons of money on tournaments and things they need for the events and like, there's a lot of money that goes into this stuff. It's not small potatoes. You don't just do it because you just, like, for funsies. I mean, I know they had money, but it's a commitment. You have to practice, you have to train, there's all kinds of things you do. It's not small by any means.
No, and I kind of because I would never do that type of thing, but I was thinking about what would be
You don't want to
the
be like
oh no, not at all.
elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist. I think
No,
that's
but
what they do.
I was trying to think about
I
why
could have
someone
won.
would,
I don't need
obviously.
training.
No.
Stupid.
But why would
I'll
you wanna
just sew
do
a dress in my basement and I'll do elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist. And I'll
right.
say, I just want the world to be beautiful. And then I'll win. What's
Yeah,
that? The Parks and Rec episode when what's her face? Did you ever watch it? Parks and Rec?
I did. I don't know the
When
episode you're talking about, though.
April, the super
Mhm.
serious, like,
Yeah, yeah.
assistant or whatever, she runs
I
for,
love April.
like, a beauty pageant.
I don't remember
It's
that
so
one.
good. It's
No.
so good.
But I think these people get into this stuff for proximity to power. Like, if
Mm.
you think about it, you go to dinners after, you meet certain people. We obviously know Epstein and Trump were at these events, and a lot of people won't bring it up, but I think we should. Who is the one thread in this whole thing that no one wants to touch? And that's Donald Trump himself. He is
Mhm.
in everything we've discussed, whether it comes to the Epstein files, whether it comes to the Charlie Kirk assassination. He knew all of these people for a long time, not just a little bit. Um, and I think that's just, alarming that, I mean, obviously no one wants to touch it. I don't want to go too far in depth, but the proximity to power, it gets you somewhere. She now knows the president of the United States. And at the time,
Mhm.
obviously a billionaire at that time. So where does it put you? What spaces are you going? I think that's why people do these things. But it comes with a cost. It could come with the cost of your innocence, could come with your pocket cost. It could come with going to Romania at 17 years old. Who goes out of the country under 18? I can't fathom that. I have a child now, so I really can't fathom it, sending my child away. Like, no one knows if Lori was there or not. Can anyone confirm that? No idea. but could you see yourself sending your child
Who's
like
Lori?
across
She
the
doesn't
world?
even exist.
Yeah, yeah. Lori who? She's just being a boss mom at home, obviously.
Oh, April, when they go, they're introducing her on stage, and she
Mhm.
goes, "I'm April, I'm 20, and I love people, places, and things."
Yes, now I do remember. Yes. That's yes. So,
Uh,
yes, Crystal, this is where I'm at. I feel this, that he is actually the main thread in all
it's
these things.
cognitive dissonance. They don't
Yeah,
wanna they
don't
don't
want
wanna
to
feel the
touch it.
feelings.
Yeah,
They don't
it's
wanna
but
feel
it's
the feelings, and like I said, I feel duped, so a lot of people feel duped whether they want to admit it or not, and that's the biggest problem, because if they were willing to admit it, then they'd be one of us
right.
saying what we're saying.
Yeah, and I think it kind of it's unfortunate that I mean, I don't know if you guys feel like manipulated by the propaganda machine a little bit on this person specifically, but I do because I wasn't a big fan for many years, many years.
Yeah,
Then
it's
I
like they
finally was
got you.
like, yeah, and then finally it was like, okay, maybe this is the best option then I guess, question mark, question mark. That's
That's where
where
I
I
was.
felt.
I
And
mean, and that's probably why they chose Kamala as the
yes,
competitor, because
yes,
they knew no one was gonna I mean, she failed so miserably, they
she did.
knew that was gonna be the case,
Yeah,
and I agree, it does, it feels like a psyop, like, yeah, they knew she was gonna fail, they knew we were all gonna be like, "What choice do we have?" I
yes.
mean, I don't know about you, but I had done a clip and I got, it got well, I said some inappropriate things about Mr. Trump in my TikTok video that I made when I discovered that supposedly there's a news station, and I could probably find the video. I think it was pretty short. There was a news station in Israel that covered it, and it's covering that supposedly in 2017, um, Trump was converted to Judaism.
Mhm.
They claim that, and the news station, like, this is a news station, had the coverage on the Israeli news, and,
Mhm.
even mainstream media in the US had made a statement, or maybe it was them, maybe they made it, I don't know, but there was a statement made that essentially they were keeping it quiet, but the idea was that they would start, rolling out the bits of information about that conversion, at a certain time, and I
At
was
no
like,
time
"Are
it's been
you
rolled out.
fucking" I was so mad in that video, yeah, I basically said he needed to stop, like, chugging BB's dick or something like that,
Yeah.
because I was so pissed, and they were like, "This is against our community guidelines." I was like, "Well, I can't tell where he starts and he begins, so I don't know what to tell you."
Right.
We're big mad. And
Well,
this
that
was
makes
before
sense.
they bought TikTok, so
Yeah, and Mark Levin said, "He's our first Jewish president." That's what he said. That's just what
yes.
he said, and no
Why do
one
you think they
wanted to
all
believe
turned around and
him.
were like, "We love him so much now."
If you're kissing the wall, you're kissing the wall, baby. Like, we can't
Your 2 sisters? We're not sisters. We live
no.
states away from each other, and basically met virtually a month ago.
Yes. Yes, but good vibes here. Good vibes.
For serious. Have you
Oh.
There's this hilarious guy who makes, funny reels online, because this is what I do, I just watch funny shit on the internet, and, he has long hair, maybe you've seen him, but he always acts like he's, like, fucked up, right? And there's
Mhm.
one where he's, like, pulled over, and it's, like, the window's down and the cop lights are on, and the cop's like, "Excuse me, sir," and he goes, "What are you on?" He's like, What am I on? I'm on cloud 9." And he's like, "No, like, what are you on?" And he's like, "Oh, like, I'm on, like, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook." And he's like, "Not your ats, like drugs." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I mean, if you've got some." And I'm like, "This guy is like everything, right?" But he has another one where he's like, "We're just out here surviving, We're just surviving."
Surviving?
And so now I'm like, "That's
Oh,
it. I'm just
I'm
surviving all
I'm
the time."
taking that. That's
I
going
know.
right with me
I
straight to
say
the
it all
grave.
the time at work. I'm like, "Everybody just surviving the day, right?"
Yes. Did you ever watch H3H3 a long time ago when he had
No.
Trisha Paytas on? Oh my god. So they did this very sorry guys, it's gonna be embarrassing for me.
She's so weird though.
She is. So they did this series like short term because she obviously blew it so far up. Like she just got so dramatic. And by the way, married to his wife's brother. So like she blew the family dynamic up. Doesn't matter.
Hold on. Do you see that most recent that most recent
The
chat
LG.
to 0?
Stop it. Stop it.
He's
Couple
really good,
screws.
except you might be missing a few screws.
Couple screws.
But we're all missing some
We're all
screws, or at
missing
least
screws.
there's some loose.
But Trisha Paytas at the end, every time she was talking about someone she just did not like, she would say, with peace and love, with peace
With
and
peace
love,
and
and
love.
just sends them off. And I've
Like in,
stolen that.
like in Schitt's Creek, when every time they leave each other, they're like,
Yes.
whatever they say.
Yes. She would
Best
say like
wishes,
something.
warmest regards.
Yes, she would say something so shitty, and she'd be like, "But with peace and love." I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
so I said that for a very long time.
yeah.
Okay, another one that Candace talked about: birth date discrepancies in divorce papers. November 20th versus November 22. Who
Yeah, it's so
cannot get their
weird.
child's that? Okay, this is so stupid, but I'm going to say it. That's the difference between being a Scorpio and a Sagittarius. You cannot put your child through trying to figure that out. If you're a
Yeah,
Scorpio, you're a
they're not
Scorpio.
yeah, they're not that's not even on the cusp, they're one or the other.
They're either I'm on the cusp. They can't be like it's one or the other. And they don't even know if their child is or is not. I'm voting
Well,
Scorpio.
that's not even the only date though, right? Because isn't there a date that differs on their marriage too? Like what
Yes.
either their marriage or their divorce, one of those things are totally different years even by like 12 years or
This
something?
is why it's giving CIA, MK Ultra, Planty Family. If you can't get your
Well,
dates right, it's
this
your
is the kind of
something
stuff
broken.
too that why I always say that I believe that it's really clear and obvious. Like they've listen, I am a firm believer that our government has technology decades beyond what we have. We have no idea what they're capable of. And so they've been able to do the things we're doing now for a long time. Um, but what they didn't expect, I think, is for people outside of their little bubble, because as smart as they may be, they're pretty fucking stupid sometimes. And they think we're so stupid. But what happened is now we have, all of these people like us coming out creating new apps and creating new ways to communicate. And they didn't anticipate our abilities to interact with people across the globe instantly. They didn't anticipate all of this to take place as quickly as it did. Like they knew it was a possibility, but I think it just snowballed so fast. And then the problem with that is now they don't have the ability to cover any of these things that we're able to figure out because they made so many careless mistakes before they had the even thought that we would be able to discover them at any time.
Right.
So to them, it was never even something. It was like, whatever, typo, like, but
Yeah.
now that we can, and now that we have access, and now that they didn't think about, oh, well, should we scan these business documents into the system? Yeah, whatever. Well, now we can see them. Thanks, guys. But like
Thanks.
they don't go there and they didn't anticipate it. And so now, we're at this point where they're trying to catch up. I feel like the vibe is like, like them scrambling around, like throwing paperwork everywhere, like shit, 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 like constantly.
Yes.
That's what it feels like. And we're
They
going,
think we're
you
boomers.
keep messing up and we're here for it. I'm waiting for it.
Okay, they really do think we're a bunch of boomers, that we do not have our own brain cells, and nothing against boomers in general. You guys know the vibe, though. Someone who doesn't know how to change a
Yeah.
PDF to a Word,
Listen, I love
vice
my
versa.
father, but I got a
Yes.
text from him not too long ago and he does not text. And I was like, no shit. And I look at it and it's like, hey, kiddo, just checking in, blah, 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 text, text, text. And then it says, don't text me back because I won't be able to figure out how to respond.
Bro.
I love you, daddy.
Yeah. We
But that's
love
what we
you.
mean.
But that's all I mean. I mean, like, okay, if and by the way, my grandpa is like great at technology, so this is not a
My
sweeping
grandmother was
thing.
decent,
My
yeah.
grandpa is like an absolute G. So, nothing to actual, but the mentality of won't
Yeah,
really
the over
research.
and the assumption of the projection of what they believe of us.
Well, and the propaganda that they were eating up, and at the time, I don't know how much they could have outside looked. So now that the internet came on, they think we're still stuck in like the 90s where we can't look at
Yeah,
anything.
dial up. We're
Yeah.
waiting on AOL's dial-up tone, chatting with little door squeaky closes.
Okay, look what Crystal said. She said, "That's cute. He can figure out how to text you, but can't figure out how to read your reply."
He
He
can read it, he
tried.
just can't figure out how to reply after he reads it, I think, is really
What
the
kind of
or
phone does he
maybe
have?
you're right, maybe he couldn't even I think it's like a generic, smartphone,
Yeah,
not like a big name, which probably makes it 10,000,000 times harder to
I
use.
think it probably does. Probably hides it.
Yeah.
Okay, what about she has also had allegedly family ties to fraud. Um, I felt like
You mean
I
like the like casino-y stuff?
Yeah, the gambling and like money moving. I don't know how I felt about that because I haven't been able to verify that as much. That's not as an angle I've been able to look into.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too that's really tough with situations like this is we do know that her family has certain connections and they're involved in certain things, and um, that doesn't inherently make them guilty of anything. So it does make it hard because, you know,
Yeah,
there's still legit people who do certain businesses that might seem not legit. Like there's
right.
always going to be people laundering money through a laundromat, but it doesn't mean that all laundromat owners are sketchy people. So
Yeah.
it's like you got to still use your brain cells, and yeah, I can't just say, "Oh, for sure, it must be true."
Yes, it's a dog. Yes. My mom came in and threw my dog in my room. It just like yeeted him. I was like, okay, thanks. So he was just walking around. That's why I normally have a background because sometimes the dogs will walk around.
I should open the door so my cat can go. I don't usually let them down here, but I did let her down here once. There's a picture on my feed because she was like on the shelf behind me. I was like, it would be fun to like put a like a seat or something for her, but she's fucking huge. She's like 14 pounds. Like, I don't know. You'd
That's
think she's
so
like a
funny.
Maine Coon, but she's not. She's
Yeah,
a
this
behemoth. Her name's Tina. Like
okay.
Bob's Burgers, we have Tina and Jean.
I thought you were talking about like Tina from Napoleon Dynamite. Tina, you fat lord, come get some dinner.
Tina, come eat your food. I saw that shit in the movies.
um
So good.
by the way, Danks, I'm convinced that mattress firms are pretty sketch. I
Who the hell?
literally
Why are there so many? And how are they still open?
I
How
worked
are
for a
there that
company.
many?
I worked for a company that did some of their communications and their
I could
payments.
go down holes on that. I
The
could just
whole
keep
thing.
going on that stuff.
I was like cuz I had to troubleshoot their software and I'm like how are y'all still in business? Like
I'm like,
seeing the
how often are
cash.
you buying mattresses? How often are you seeing anybody in those freaking stores? And what do they even make? I mean, I bought one a couple years ago, it's $1,300. That's not paying for much for you guys who work here. So what's the deal? Why are there
Yeah.
4 in this city?
I
My small city. That makes no sense.
I've literally only seen like 3 people ever go to the
Especially with how many are online now. You can order them online and most
yeah.
people do half the time. So now there's not even really a point for them.
Yeah, that makes me wanna deep dive it just because I just
I am
remembered
now. I'm
that.
like, "Oh, shit, I'm
Um,
notes."
what about okay, you missed this one, so this is breaking for you. TPUSA COO Tyler Boyer Romania trips were alleged during the same year, I think it was, that Erika was there. Um,
Wait,
so
repeat that?
so COO Tyler Boyer
Yeah.
was allegedly at Romania, apparently, according to Candace. I think it was around the same time Erika Kirk was, or
Do
in the same
we
vicinity of the same people.
um what's the age difference between her and him, Erica and Tyler? Do you know?
No, I
Because at
thought
that
they
point,
went,
she was still pretty young.
but
So then I'm
he and
wondering,
her went to the
like,
same college ish. They
yeah,
were around the same age, I'm pretty sure. Allegedly, if her age is correct.
I wanna look now.
Yeah. So apparently he also was in Romania. What's in Romania? Like anybody know what's actually in Romania besides all of the allegations of what goes on in Romania? Um oh, let me see this one. Zero put up. Have you not seen the fat electrician's mattress from Deep Dive? No, but you
Oh
just told
my
us about
god,
this channel
stop it.
Zero. I'm
Oh, I'm not
literally
gonna
gonna
sleep tonight.
me either. Apparently
Thank
we
you, sir.
yeah,
Just
you've
kidding.
already given us a
Now I'm, like,
couple.
actually excited.
Me too. Okay, good. And then okay, that's awesome. Um, you think Tyler's a little older.
Bruh,
Okay,
bruh.
good to know. Cool. Okay. Um, so I know we've already covered the dating history lies. I don't think she's came out with anything super new on that. Do you remember any? Oh, well, I guess the airport chance versus planned. We haven't talked about that very much, where she said she saw Charlie at the airport when they were both in Israel.
Well, oh, we were talking about something the other day that you caught and you
Hmm.
sent to me, and it was about the difference in her story about how they met, and I don't
Oh,
think we talked about that on the live, remember? Because we thought about it
yes.
after we did the live about, like, her lies, like, and then you caught that video where she talks about how she met him, and it was
Mhm.
not how he said, or how they said later about the interview. It was like she said she met him at like an
Oh,
event or something.
yes, it was the TPUSA opening event for their headquarters in Arizona, which Tyler's
Yeah.
lawyer convinced him to go down to. And she said at the time in this other interview that she had met him there. That was the first place she ever met
Which is
him.
pretty crazy because that story that they keep saying is all I've heard, and that, like, they retell it all the time. So, like,
Yes.
that one is, like, an established, like, to think that they didn't think about the fact that this totally different story was out there.
Ty or Charlie actually went along with that other story too, though. I have
That's
remembered
the things that
seeing.
are weird.
Yes,
Like,
Charlie
those
went
little
along with
things that
that.
occasionally you catch is like, ugh, just lends credence to probably, like, well, no, see, that wouldn't actually lend credence to, like, Jesse's theory. Like, I was thinking that at first, but the reality would be, like, um, if that would be Sit claiming that the plan was this all along, and so that's why information's, you know what I mean? Like, as if they weren't actually together because they cared about each other. Do you know what I'm saying? If
Yeah,
they were making different stories the whole time and they were different and they didn't keep up with it, that would indicate that it was planned the entire time,
right.
which would change everything.
Do you remember this story? And guys, drop in the chat the story of Charlie's video with Gigi where he said, "This is mommy and daddy first met." Yet another story. Oh, I think that was the burger joint, which is what they were talking about. They said that's where they first met.
Oh, I think though that they had claimed their claim was that they had gone for like a 3-hour job interview, but they had like done it over lunch. So it would make sense if they were at like a burger place. Like that's what I had heard, that it was like a
Mhm.
lunchtime interview and it was like a lengthy one. Um, no, they said there were no pictures of her pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting. And where are those
But
kids
and we were
now?
talking about this the other day because we brought up, how Candace has never talked about that, and I assumed that just given the fact that she's never brought it up, that she's probably like, "I saw her," they just didn't want pictures. "I saw her pregnant. It's nothing, it's not worth talking about." Like, because she brought this up obviously, in regards to Brigitte Macron, and she talked about it nonstop, but she's
Mhm.
never said it about Erika, and I was just assuming that's because, like, obviously she has so much information coming in that maybe she just was like, "Yeah, I see your messages. She was pregnant." You know what I mean? Like that sort of a thing, but she's never addressed it. Um, but I
Well,
don't know. I could be wrong.
I
I just think I think if she for sure had never seen, I think she would have said something. She obviously had a relationship with Charlie for all like a personal private relation. For all we knew, he could have been like, "Check it out," and like sent her pictures throughout that time frame. And she's like, "I'm not going to share them if you guys don't want me to." You know what I mean? So
something's
I don't
still
know.
weird with that though, because then why did we get that weird picture from Andrew Colvett with the kid who was like 3 times the size of the kid there
That was
that was
weird. That
actually
is
her kid?
weird because, I mean,
Why does
unless
she
we're
have so
talking
much
weird
access to kids?
like optical illusion or something, but otherwise, like, the hands, the body, it looks bigger than the daughter that's supposed to be substantially older.
Yeah. I
It
think
was
that's
weird.
I think that her proximity is a little strange. I do wanna put this one up here too. Romania is the known Costco, what a good way to put it, for discount
Mm,
children. I hate
yeah,
that. They
like
are
buying in
plentiful.
bulk, yeah.
Yeah, auto replenish kids for any reason they disappear. That's horrible. I just wanna say, like, I like to joke around about many things, but not this. Like, I can't
I
believe
agree.
these
Yeah, I
people.
get these are the parts that, like, I we've talked before about how, when we were doing the web video about how to use web, and we were talking about, if you find yourself involved in all of this, whether it's the Epstein stuff, whether it's whatever it is, and it's impacting you to a point that you're having it impact your day-to-day life, you know what I mean? You need to take a step back and recognize that about yourself. Um, and for me to offer any kind of perspective when we're talking about things like, trafficking and things of that nature, um, one of the ways that I feel like I'm capable of managing those emotions that, of course, creep up, like, you can't control it when it starts, like, it'll happen, you can get it under control when it does, but it can take you by surprise. But what I try to do in those situations is utilize it as maybe I had a shitty day with my kids because I was trapped in the house for a week straight with school vacation, we were all sick, and we are all a little bit on edge, and then I read something about stuff like this and I go, "I don't fucking care that he was a pain in the ass today." And then I can't wait to get next to that kid in his bed and squish him all up and stare at his beautiful little face. And so I feel like if you can look at things from that perspective, it really does help if you're someone who's wanting to explore and kind of go into the unknown waters of what you might find out. Trying to keep a perspective of, I know that these things happen, and I know that like I'm doing what I can right now to hopefully be part of the solution. And all I can do is appreciate and love the fact that I know my kids don't have that. And
Yeah.
maybe what I'm doing is helping the ones that are in some kind of situation, you know? Even if you think you're not making a difference, people need to remember, I mean, the whole ripple effect is just so real, you know? Think about the fact that if you walk into your job tomorrow and you're in a shitty mood, you might walk in and someone might say hi to you and you might kind of shrug or just be like, "Oh yeah, great day," or whatever. Now that person is like, "Oh, this person's going to be hard to work with all day." Now they've calmed down a bit, and then they're going to you know, that's going to reflect onto the other person they interact with, and you've quickly spread it to how many people. Maybe you even previously spread it to someone while you were driving because you were really stressed or pissed and you cut someone off, and now they're pissed and they're bringing that to their job. One person has a massive impact on the people around them. And so even if you think that like your one little video doesn't really go into too much that I think would really fix any problems, the reality is you don't know what it's doing. You don't, you know, you can see people, I watch people who cover, I call it lighthearted, but like fun, like, you know, UFO-y type stuff. And it's lighthearted and it's all full of laughter and jokes. And it's not like a super serious thing. And you can go in those comments and you will see someone who says, I just want to tell you that you saved my life when I was at a really, really dark point in my life. And I found you and you really pulled me out of it. You don't know. And so you might think you're not doing anything, but I assure you, you are.
I feel like too, this kind of goes to a bigger problem, which is a lot of the morals. And I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but I have. When I was growing up, you could take kids anywhere. People wouldn't be annoyed with them. People wouldn't care. And the attitude around children has completely changed. And that's kind of doesn't protect them in any way, because once you have a collective and a community kind of watching over children and making sure they're okay and they're in your space instead of
Mhm.
being siphoned off into another, into just their own home or some type of trafficking situation, something like that, because the family is not as prominent in America than as it used to be. And other people, grandparents don't help out as much, just certain things like that. That kind
Yeah.
of kept people in check on what are your actual morals and values. And I do think
Yeah.
that some of that stuff has really degraded and put us in a worse situation where we're probably seeing these cases a lot more than we ever were.
Yeah.
And I think it's sad. It's people don't regard children as highly as they used to. So, okay,
And
let's
we
get
have
back.
more knowledge about it. I mean, we
Yeah.
just know more about it, you know? But yeah, she said the ripple effect is real. It is real. And uh I think sometimes I can be long-winded and I know that, but part of me also feels like you can say something like in passing, like like I could have simply stated the ripple effect is real, but sometimes just putting into like a real life context, like and being like how simple it is to see the amount of people you impact on a daily basis. You might get a coffee and you know, say something nice to the person who made it for you, whatever. But like that one thing made him react differently the next person he saw. And we forget. It's so easy to forget.
Right.
And I think trying to keep that information and those thoughts like at the front of our mind helps us. One thing, I know you're going to go on to something else, but speaking of kind of 9/11, we had talked about it before, and
Mhm.
this was a really great example. Like I know we're not in like and hopefully knock on wood, we don't have anything catastrophic happen here in the US like we did then. But for anybody who's not aware, I was in New York City on 9/11, the day that it happened. I had gone to a concert the night before. My sister and I went to Michael Jackson 5 30th anniversary tour. I know you're jealous. It's
I am
okay.
100%.
Um, but we had gone to that. We live close enough that we had taken a train in. And so the next morning we were going to go and like sightsee before we took the train back home. I was 16. She was 19. And we were really tired because we stayed up, like, at the gates, like, watching all the people, you know, for however long. So we slept in, and we thought it was thundering out. It was buildings collapsing. Didn't know that at the time. Thought it was thunder and lightning. And then we were leaving the hotel. We were trying to check out, and we were trying to check out forever. And we're like, "Why are all these freaking people trying to check in?" Now, mind you, given we live in this first world country and we're spoiled, we could see on the TV it happening, and I thought we were watching something from another country. I didn't even know it was a couple blocks away. And so we checked out of the hotel and we walked out the front door, and there's people everywhere covered in dust with masks on their faces. And we were like, what the hell's going on? And we went to go to the train station and they said, you didn't hear there was a terrorist attack. And we're like, on the train? Like, we didn't know anything. You know what I
That's
mean? And
crazy.
they're like, the trains are not running. Nothing's running. And we're like, what are we going to do? We're kids at the, you know what I mean? Like, she's an adult, but we're kids and we don't have cell phones, right? So we go back into the hotel. Now we're getting a little panicky because we just checked out of our hotel. Like, what's going on? We waited for 2 hours. We had to make a phone call to my mother, who was panicking, of course. And so we waited for 2 hours. We talked to her. And then we're like, we don't know what to do. We can't leave. And this is why I brought this up, because we were there. And obviously, there's a lot of people there. We're getting upset. We're getting nervous. And we were just like in the lobby, like not knowing what to do. And there were some girls that were like, they had been at the concert the night before. We never saw them. We didn't know them. We didn't interact with them, but they were like, here, you guys can come up to our room. We'll all just stay in there for now. And we stayed up there and we watched stuff. But like, this is what happens when, like the community does come together,
Yes.
and we do see it in moments like that. And right now, I don't feel like we have any moments here that are causing and thankfully, like an emergency, catastrophic, compassionate inducing situation, but we are in like a slow burn of one. And so I think that that's why people like you and I feel like this YouTube thing isn't just so stupid. It doesn't, like this is a way to do that when we don't have something forcing our hand to do it. When we don't have
Right.
that moment of fear that causes you to go, I don't give a shit, come and stay with me and be safe.
Mhm.
We're doing it in a different way. And I hope that more people decide to. I think it's
Yeah.
really important.
To speak out. Yeah. And just like rally around these important topics. Cause I mean, we
Yeah.
don't just talk about Erika Kirk all the time, even though it's important.
No, and obviously I don't know about you, but I was driven to start the channel and I had wanted to for a long time, but there was some fear around it because of just, the reaction some people get to doing this. Sometimes it can be a little scary depending on what you want to talk about. And but it kept coming up and kept coming up. And when the Charlie Kirk thing happened, it was like, nope, now's the time. And
Right.
so for me, that was really the catalyst. And I think it was for a lot of people, but we've said this before too. I think it was for a lot of people who kind of find themselves in that middle, because prior to, I feel like right in this moment, most of the people you were going to find, and it was for sure obviously the case with mainstream media, but most of the people you'd find even online on YouTube were left or right. They were categorized as either Republican or Democrat, and a lot of them still are. You think of like Tim Pool, you think of Young Turks, like they all are in a box because that's what they came out as. But like there's not a lot of them who fall into the middle, and I feel like I've seen quite a few creep up in just these last few months, and I'm loving it because I think that's a missing voice for sure.
100%. Yeah. And independent. Like you just want people who aren't backed
Yes.
by people or didn't have a big background. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let's get to the chats because I don't want us to get
I
too
know.
far
Sorry,
off.
I'm mouthy. I'm
No, you're
mouthy.
fine. That's how we don't, but I'm here. I'm here to facilitate our next
Accept me,
event.
you
I
guys.
love,
Just
yeah,
accept
just
me.
do it. Okay. I like this question though. And if Andrew wasn't supposed
I'm
to share the,
parched.
she's parched from her her 9/11.
You
Bring
guys
us.
are like, I'm really bummed that cough went away so fast. I know. I'm sorry.
I love it. Okay. And if Andrew wasn't supposed to show the picture, why'd Erica put her finger over the kid's picture? She was just sending it to Andrew as far as she knew,
That's a
right?
good point. That's a really good point.
Well, what was the point of sending it if you weren't going to try and verify it with
Well, it's the
every
same
YouTuber
point
on the
as
planet?
sending the screenshot of the conversation and taking the contact number out. It's the same point.
Yeah. She does this thing, and I think this is going to sound sexist. I don't care because I get to say it. It's a woman thing to do, to think you can really like to try and like
Yeah.
manipulate just a little bit,
I
like,
just
but
it's like a
like
woman thing to
halfway
do,
do
but
it.
like a naive one. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? One
but
that
kind
doesn't,
of, but
or one that got away with like so much
it's a
before.
manipulative
Like you
tactic.
didn't really have to try.
I've said this so many times. A man would have just ignored it. I think a man would just be like,
I
I'm
think a
not going
man
to
would have
say
ignored
anything.
everything.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
everything.
So
Yeah.
what she's doing, in my opinion, is just trying to make it look just good enough that she's trying, everybody, but she's not. She's not trying. She doesn't care about the truth. It's not a big deal. Um,
Crystal, you can trade states with me. I'll be over in about 30 minutes.
I'm so far behind on the chat because I want to get some of these up here. Okay, I liked this one from Debbie and I want to touch on it. Did you see this one? So basically, she said, Erika Kirk said she was reading the Bible in hiding for 8 months. You know what I thought about that, Debbie? Did they pull her aside for reprogramming for whatever she's MK Ultra into? She was taken off the map for 8 months. What parent does that, right? So when you
Like a
think
boot
about,
camp.
yeah, was this a boot camp to get back into a new character? That's kind of how I thought about it. Like she's going somewhere else.
Like a debriefing for a period of time and getting
Yeah,
into yeah.
she needed a new personality, Debbie. That's how I felt about it. She needed a new personality. She had to read the Bible so she knew where to infiltrate. And then,
It was a
you know,
weird
it
and that was like the missing year,
that's
right? Yeah.
and that's just in my opinion. It's kind of a speculation, obviously, but in my opinion, you're you don't do that with a child. You don't just take them away from everything they know for 8 months to read a Bible. In most normal households, I'm not saying, but like this would
Well,
be
but she was
abnormal.
older at this point too, I believe. So I think she was
Yes.
like 17, 18. And it's like what person at that age isn't like I mean, at this point social media is established. You're doing stuff online already. You already have that. It's still kind of newer too. So like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yes.
It just feels like a
Yeah.
fake story.
It's fake. You were gone somewhere you shouldn't have been. You were in some programming. I mean, I'm just making up reasons, but I'm
You know what the
saying
biggest issue is? It's not even that the things they say are definitive lies. It's that it just feels like lazy excuses. Like it's a lazy excuse. Like the stories and the reasoning they give for so many things just feel like you're too lazy to come up with something even better than that. It just feels lazy.
well, yeah, and I like this comment. Pretty sure they both knew it was going to Gary. It's like, of course they knew it was going to Gary because Erika Kirk has to have her finger on the trigger for everything. Everything that came through that Andrew Colvett ever tries to do has to go up to Erika Kirk. We know it. That's the personality type she is. That's how she operates. So
Carrie's never living
absolutely.
that down.
Yeah, well, and Gary is living his best life because like he just can be the internet troll forever. And who knows, maybe he has good intentions. I don't know Gary
We were
personally.
talking about making merch that said on my channel that just said it's Gary's fault.
Yeah. I wanted to be like, just bring it to Gary. Like just if it's bad info, like just bring it to
Oh,
Gary. Let him debunk
one
that.
of my subscribers will often be in there and she's like, "Oh, freaking Gary. Am I right?" I'm like, "I know, it's always Gary."
It's Gary and Joe and
Joe. That was one of the best.
that
I
was
can't
so
with the
funny.
Joe stuff was so funny. It
Oh,
really
Crystal
was.
said a groomer parent maybe. But that's just how I think of it. These people are not normal. They don't operate under normal set of rules. That's how they rule from above, but that's also how they parent their children. They do weird shit. And it's
Yeah.
normal to call it out. Also
We had said
Zero,
too.
sorry. He
Aw,
big super chat. Thank you so much. He said, "You ladies are doing great things. I am sure I speak for everyone. Keep going. Your voice is valuable and refreshing. Grounded reality.
thank
Respect."
you.
Thank you so much. You're
We
so sweet.
appreciate that. We had said something similar, I think, when we were talking separately on the phone the other day. We were talking about, just how people don't want to believe that parents will do terrible things, but we've seen it. We've seen parents do terrible things. We know that, certain parents who are in really rough spots, whether it's addiction or whatever, make some choices they're probably going to regret later. And some of those are really horrific, and maybe it's coming from their past trauma that they're in the position they're in anyway. And then they make this additional terrible decision to either whatever rent out their kids or sell their these things genuinely happen, but also just it doesn't mean that that has to be the thing either. In this scenario we could be seeing someone who's been manipulated and traumatized, but not necessarily in that way. Someone who's been so confused their entire life that they just don't even know what's real anymore, and so they just try and self-preserve. All they do is try and figure out what they have to do to make sure they're safe and they're loved. And we all have that default. But it all spawns from whatever history we have growing up as young kids and what we had to do. And that was like the established period of time. So when parents who work in these kinds of fields that have access to, you know, manipulation techniques because of governmental things, those people are highly dangerous and they don't necessarily shield their kids from that. Maybe there are some, um, but I think that it's very safe to say that a lot of probably even some of our higher up and important politicians are probably these kinds of people from these kinds of manipulative, pre planned out family chains of people that people know are like their pool to pick from when it comes to politics and government. These people are people they've been watching for a long time that, they've potentially manipulated for a long time. And they don't live the same life we do.
Yeah.
Um,
And they in these the Epstein files basically confirms all of this, right?
mhm.
Because we know that one of the Rothschilds, our childs, brought her children to the Epstein Island. If you knew that this guy was a convicted PDF, are you bringing your kid around them if it's knowingly and we know
Right.
very public? No, it's because in these it to them that's normal. To them that might even be
Yeah.
a rite of passage. To them it's how
Yeah.
you can control your offspring, how you make sure they stay within the family line. The best way to control someone is to abuse them. And so
Mhm.
unfortunately that is what happens in these families, especially ones that care about their bloodline because they really want the power and the control and the money to stay in their bloodline and they control their children through these means.
I
And
saw
I'm
a
not
really
saying that's
great
exactly what Erika has experienced, but I am saying it would track if so, because of all of the times she has forgotten things, all of the times her story has changed. This is not normal, even for someone who has hit their head 3 times and had a concussion. Like you would know some very basic facts that she just obviously doesn't know. And then all the dates changing, it does feel like her life is kind of an op. It's kind of fake. She's lived several places, traveled more places than most of us has ever been. And it just doesn't make sense for a regular average person that she tried to be. So, in my opinion, these families that operate at that high level, they don't exist in a morality that most of us do. So that's why I think that it's not too far to assume that maybe she had some grooming in her past. Um,
yeah.
Love, I'm gonna put
I
this on
saw
right so far. Oh, this is so
I
cute. Oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no. I saw, a really great I don't need to read the whole thing, but I shared a really great post that someone had posted on Facebook earlier, and, it's essentially in regards to, like, people who spank their child. You know how, like, oftentimes you'll hear, people who this says, "People who defend hitting their children often come into my comments and say, 'I spanked my child. I didn't abuse them. My child's grown now. Ask them. They'll tell you I didn't abuse them. They are loving. Um, they're this, they're this, they're this, they're that, whatever, today.'" And she goes into essentially, I'm looking at it now, but she said children are biologically wired to attach to their caregivers. Their survival depends on it. And so the developing brain will reinterpret harm as love before it will risk losing attachment. Um, this is what attachment theory is, if you've heard of it, of
Yes.
course. But trauma science and basic neurobiology teach us the brain's job is always to keep the body safe. A child who gets hit by the person they depend on has two options: either the person I need to survive is dangerous and unsafe, or this is normal. This is love. I deserve it.
Mhm.
Um, and so again, she goes into like the amygdala and cortisol and all of this. But essentially, it says when you hit a child and then hug them, you're not teaching discipline. You're teaching a nervous system confusion. You're pairing fear with attachment. You're bonding through harm. The brain encodes that pairing. And so if your adult child insists they weren't abused, it's not proof of their innocence, but rather the most successful part of the socialization. And
Yep.
right, so it's if anything, it's just proof that you were successful in manipulating their thoughts and their beliefs, and that has carried through to adulthood. It's very long, so I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I felt like, man, that's so perfect. It's such a good example, and I say it all the time when people say that, like, "I was spanked as a kid, I came out fine." Sure, but you may not recognize the problems it may have caused you, and
Right.
still, the reality is, if I'm trying to teach my child, "I don't want you to have this behavior, and if you do it, I'm gonna spank you, hit you," whatever, that's just saying if you don't get your way, it's okay to hit someone. Like, we're not okay to hit dogs, we're not okay to hit our spouses, but yet we're okay to hit our kids when they're out of that makes the most innocent out of other than pets out of all these things, and we're okay with that. It doesn't make sense. You can't punch someone at a bar because they did something you didn't like. It's just not reality, and we're convincing ourselves that it's okay because, like, the majority of people didn't grow up and just do the same thing. It's just not how it works, you know?
No, and these families that operate at this high level, they take it to a way different extreme even. They take it to a place so far and so sick and something none of us, or most of us, not saying none because I don't want to, but most of us didn't live
Yeah.
through. They've probably been isolated from normal peers. They probably were told to only hang out with certain people who also did these certain things. They're coerced in a way that is just so pathological. So, I mean, that's, I think, where we were going with this. I like this comment by Zero. Howard Lutnick
Yes.
decided his kids were safe on that island. What was his motives to take his family there? Absolutely sus. And they were neighbors. It's like, if
That
you,
whole email is so bizarre, dude.
we know you're part of that club. If you're willing to put your children in danger, just for what were the perks? Well, we know that I mean, a lot of these people believe that these abuse tactics are how they can get their children to basically always stay with them, never tell the family secret.
Yeah.
Secrecy is
Yeah.
where they operate. So that's probably why, is because he wanted to make sure that they were, I don't know, part of the family
Yeah, that
business.
email is ridiculous because who lists off their kids' names? I mean,
The
ages
predator.
to someone they're going to visit. Like, come on.
No, and I mean, if you were to ask me my son's age and I hadn't willingly give it to you, I'd probably be
Yeah, if someone were
like
to ask, I'd be like, I'm sorry.
with
No.
this type of like not as someone you're connecting with or whatever. It's like over email, and I'm not your business,
Yeah.
buddy. Like any sense of just normal,
It
like
was just
having
a
a
very
bit on
weird,
the
like,
wall.
listing them off. We'll be there with our kids, 15, 17, 14, 12. Like, what?
Yeah. Okay, so what we haven't talked about though is, why do people call it, if we're talking about Erika Kirk, what's going on with her and Candace's assessment of her, defenders will call it like malicious slander, envy driven, like kind of saying Candace is allegedly resenting Erika for being with Charlie.
Oh, I know.
Um
That one always makes me chuckle. And they're like,
so
she's secretly in love with him.
So I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I've seen I don't have Instagram, so I didn't run a story on this, but apparently, when Charlie and uh, Candace were still doing their tours together, there's a bunch of people in his comment section on Instagram that would be like, just make it official already, and things like that, just of that thing. And
Yeah.
he was with Candace, and he would
Yeah.
like it and heart it. And so people make it
I
seem
feel like
like,
that's like a poke in the bear on purpose.
yes, so I feel like, and he would do that when he would tour with Candace,
Let's
so I
fuck
feel
with
like
them,
you
like,
can,
that's what it feels like.
well, I feel like they're trying to invert the truth. That's what they do. Liars invert the truth. You can go on his Instagram at one point, you could have seen these receipts where he was liking the stuff with him and Candace in it that would insinuate maybe they
Yeah.
should be an item. So, what people are trying to do, in my opinion, is just flip it. Now, whether Candace is jealous or not, who would know? I mean, I don't think so. She seemed happy and living her best life, but what do you think?
I mean, I think anyone with half a brain knows, like, if you're married and committed and you have kids and your life is chaotic and busy, like, shit, I don't have time for, like, I don't have time to do this again.
Yes.
I'm already, like, invested here. I'm not starting over.
Right.
No,
I
like, I don't
don't
have
want,
time to I'm already dealing with this one. I'm not gonna deal with another one, like, I just no.
and quite frankly, if they weren't super close towards the end of his life, why in the world would Candace be jealous? She had all this other time to be jealous if she wanted to be jealous.
And I'm
Why
not
would
gonna
she do
lie,
that?
like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like there isn't, what I would consider maybe reasonable skepticism around, like, the reality of Candace's marriage, right? Like, they obviously met, they got married very quickly, they got engaged incredibly quickly. He is someone who's relatively prominent in the UK, whatever. Like, there are things that I can understand would make people pause, but it's not enough for me to say there's no way. I
Right.
mean, she's also incredibly come on, the woman is friggin' gorgeous.
Yeah.
She's stunning, okay? She's beautiful, she's intelligent. It's very clear to see why someone who maybe would be from a prominent family would see her as someone that they would want, to be with and be seen with. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't look at it as that, but I can completely see why people would be skeptical. I get it. I mean,
Yeah,
I've known
of
people
that.
who've been together
Yeah,
since 14 and it's like, "Come on." But they have, like,
right.
it's just, it's an anomaly, but it doesn't confirm or prove anything. It doesn't mean they don't love each other. It's just
Yeah.
it's a nothing burger because what are we gonna prove that they don't love each other? You can't prove that with a piece of paper. So why bother going into it to
Yeah,
me? You know what I mean? I don't see the point.
I agree. And I think sometimes I will get confused on all the characters in Erica's family and where that's all
Well,
leading.
are you
I
talking
think
about just her mom or
no, no,
uh,
no, not the mom.
no,
Because
I
to
mean,
me
like,
the
all
mom
of
is
her mom's characters because there's,
yeah,
like, 11 or
yeah,
something, so it's
there's
really
just
confusing.
oh yeah, all of her names. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm talking
There's,
about
like, 12
there's 12
Laurie's.
Laurens and Lauries and Abbas, whatever. Yeah, no. To me, that obviously you should scrutinize that part of any of the story because why is her mom? She talks about her mom like that's her best friend in the world. So her mom obviously took her under her wing. It's not that hard to assume that type of information. But what I do get confused by is like the full family picture right now. I think I'm ready for Candace to maybe put it all together for me because I'm starting to lose track of who's who when she mentions people's names.
I
Um,
do too. I
yeah.
know, and
So I think
I've
that's my only
myself
thing
have
on the series where I'm like, well, I'm just gonna watch this and see where we're at here.
I've gone so deep into, like, Instagram tags and stuff that, yeah, names are like nothing to me now.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen so many names at this point and, like, made connections and associations with those people, and some panned out and some didn't, so, like, those names all I have to write it all down.
I like this comment. It's cute. I think Charlie was kind of nerdy and played into fun stuff with Candace, nothing more than
I
friends.
love the videos of them,
Me too, because they
like,
seem buddy
singing and
buddy.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But things change, as you get older, you have a wife, you have a husband, all those things. So, when people were coming out and saying like they weren't as close as they used to be, or even saying other things, it's not that far off to assume they probably weren't. It doesn't mean they still didn't have a good relationship, a working relationship. She was obviously still on the TPUSA website until he literally was KO'd. So, I don't know. I think Candace still kind of has a right to wonder these things. She knew him before Erika. So um
Yeah.
that's kind of my take on her series right now. Oh, I'm trying to think if there's anything else in that world that I've been like pondering lately. I feel like we
I don't feel like
covered
we've
so
gotten a
much.
lot of new stuff recently, Like, I know, like, she's covering stuff, but I mean, like, anything new in the sense of, like, the actual Charlie Kirk situation, and I don't feel like at least, well, I haven't watched her current I don't know if there was anything crazy on the last day,
Hmm.
with what she said. I didn't watch today, so and I only watched part of yesterday. Well, yesterday was so much.
Yeah, yesterday was
Yesterday was so much.
it was a full day of dram, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so maybe we should talk about the current war going on. US sentiment is just down the tubes. Obviously, no one wants this. Everyone knows no one wants this. Um, so I guess Trump and Rubio are saying the war could last 4 to 5 weeks or longer. The hardest hit is yet to come, and there's no ground troops yet, but the regime change is still going strong. From what I've seen, I think we're not getting all the information on how it's actually going. Um, I don't know if you guys have seen any of this, but I don't know if they're telling us everything that's happening to our US bases. I'd like to know that. I want to know.
I have been wanting to because I know that if you're wanting to find out more current stuff, I think if I'm sure who am I plugging? I have 329 subscribers. Go subscribe to my channel. um, but watch Valhalla. I like Nate. I know some people don't like him. I like him. But he's been covering it. Obviously, he's been going into detail about like the certain events and the certain people that have have already died. So he's gone into a lot of that. I haven't watched all of it. I've watched some of it, but I think he had another update maybe even today. And he's pretty good. Like some of his like regular videos, his non-live streams are like bite sized. They're like 12
Mhm.
minutes or something. So they're really easy to watch. He's got them down to be really concise and compact. So if you're wanting an update, I'd say look at his stuff. He's got a better insight than I'm going to have. But What does this say? Oh my God, did you hear Trump say that we do
Yeah,
want this? And we
and we support him.
well, if you, as long as you just tell people what, you want them to believe, then
Mhm. So this is
I
what I
I
found on X.
personally
Oh, go
I
on.
was just gonna
Sorry.
say go to my ex. I personally feel like I created the best meme for this situation based on the conservative people I'm seeing in my feeds on social media and
Let
the
me see
things
if
that
I
they're
can pull it.
claiming for, after this all started. It makes me laugh.
I thought
I
you'd be
was
on
like,
my
"This is
research, but I don't.
exactly."
Worry, just looked you up. Okay. Let's
I was
see.
like, "This is exactly what I'm seeing in
You
my
can see it,
feed."
right?
It's
I like
down.
how we
People
both did this. We both
did
retweeted
you?
this out.
This
Yes.
right here.
Oh, this
This is
one.
all I see.
Yes. You
There
made
were
that yourself?
yeah.
I love that. I'm
I was like,
retweeting
that
that.
is just all I see. These people are like, well, we've been waiting for this for 30 years. I've been watching. Calm the fuck down, dude. Nobody wants it. Okay. That's all I see is him, crazy eyes with the strings and the,
I love it.
like,
I just
fucking
did it.
chill, dude.
I love that. I found this. Apparently, Polymarket has created a market that would
Oh,
monetize a nuclear
fun.
attack amid increasing concerns
I,
that bets are happening among government insiders. But wait, there's more. Someone put timeout. So the
I feel
guy
like an
who runs
oxymoron.
well, so the guy who runs the networks that run the wars is the same guy who runs the casino where you can bet on the wars. So Peter Thiel is
Yeah.
behind this.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just feel
Oh,
like I can't wait to win all that money and then die a really painful death.
I right, but they won't. If it's like the billionaire class, they're in the Alps or something. Like it's
Well, they're all
ridiculous.
creating their underground bunkers
Okay,
like,
this one made me laugh too.
Zuckerberg.
Matt Walsh tweeting about the Iran war from the Daily Wire headquarters. I don't know if you guys
The
have
guy with the
seen.
mic, like, underneath, like, "No, no, 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 no."
Yes. Okay, I got to show you guys what Matt put out because this is funny. Um, or not funny, but like you did. I did not think he would say any of this. Let me find it.
Every now and then, I'm like, "Okay, you're slowly redeeming yourself," and then we get, like, 10 steps back, and I'm like, "Come on, Matt.
Yes,
I'm rooting for you.
I feel like he might have pulled it.
You're like the Andrew Colvin of the Daily Wire."
He is. Okay, I just saw some. Okay, my feed is full. Blah blah blah. Oh, I just swore I should have just gone to my channel. It would have been faster because it's on here. He. I just retweeted something he said. Um, but it was
He did have
about.
something recently that I liked too, that might be
Yes,
the same
I
thing.
know I retweeted it. Apparently I'm on here way too freaking much. This is
I am
embarrassing.
never on there,
I can't get
like,
down
ever.
fast enough to whatever the heck I retweeted of Matt. There it is. Regime change wars in the Middle East coupled with the homeland flooded with third world Islamic migrants is a very volatile combination. So we know he's not in support of this. I swear I did another one. I think he deleted it. I
He had a
swear
really long,
he had
very
a
lengthy,
long
very
one.
opinionated post, and it was
He
very
got the
well
call.
written.
He got the call, baby.
Yeah, and they were like, "Shut the fuck up." They were just like that meme at the beginning
Wait,
where he's like, "No, no, 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 no."
this is the video, guys, of Erika Kirk saying how she met Charlie.
Oh,
Let
play
me
it,
play
yeah.
this. Let me
Make
play
sure
it.
the audio is on.
Girl, I already clicked it, so if it doesn't work, y'all, we're gonna have to redo the whole thing
Did you
again.
see that? Yeah, the X though, there's an X still on there. The
Yes,
X,
I see
yeah.
that. But I don't want to play it until I put play. You get what I
Oh, I
mean?
know what you mean. Yeah, yeah,
Oh wait,
yeah.
oh wait, it's still gonna do it
I
anyway.
hate
Okay.
how it's always like,
That's the
panicky.
only
I'm
thing
not gonna
about
be
X I
fast enough.
hate. It just starts. Okay, guys, this
Same
is
thing with, like, TikTok. They all just immediately give me a freaking second. I have
yeah.
anxiety over clicking on this.
I'm trying to give everybody a good
I'm gonna
show
ruin
here.
the punchline.
Okay, let's listen to our favorite gal in the whole world.
Look how
It
cute she is.
was a while ago. I can't even keep track of dates anymore with babies and anniversary dates and everything else in between. So, anyways, so we had met through a family friend. He had invited me to the office opening for Turning Point USA, which I know several of you guys are supporters of. So thank you for all of your support for Turning Point USA. And so I went to the office opening and he was like, you need to meet the CEO. And I was like, okay, great. I don't know. I was not familiar with that world at all. But the interesting point is that year, that was in August. In May, I had taken a pilgrimage with my mom to Israel. And my whole intention of that trip was to find my future husband. If there was a hole in a rock anywhere to put a prayer, and those of you who've been, it was
if I can do anything to just figure out and pre-plan this marriage I want, that's what that sounds like at the end there.
Yes.
I just want to, let's just figure out, let's look through people and decide who it's going to be. And, let's make this plan happen.
Right. I feel like I just can't, I can't understand why that story keeps changing. And why was Charlie behind that story keep changing? Because he did say it was the burger joint that was, so maybe they just in their heads like think, well, that was technically like the first date, but they said it was an interview. Like these things do matter.
I mean, unless I guess there's always a way to talk your way out of it. And I feel like in that case, it would be like, well, we met, but we didn't we didn't interact. We just met each other. You know what I mean? Like we met briefly and then I ended up interviewing. It would just be something it's not worth like making a thing about because that's all that'll happen.
I need to, who flies to a foreign country to find a husband? The ones that claim they are Christians but are not. That is who does that. The people,
the ones who are trying to plan a grand scheme on finding your husband.
The ones who want to infiltrate the country.
I wonder if they flew there on an Egyptian plane. That'd be fun to find out.
Yeah, unfortunately, that story has kind of died. We don't have any follow-up. So if anyone out there just wants to finish up on that Egyptian plane theory, we'd like it. Someone put, I think Netanyahu's ultimate goal is to destroy both Iran and the United States. Big yes. I think this is
his ultimate goal is to own the world. It's a slow migrating border that's eventually expected to encompass all the land.
Right.
That's why when people are like, I feel like he's talking to us in America, I'm like, no, he's talking to the world, because if he's not doing it to you now, he's letting you know that he will be. It's all, I mean, that's what he's been doing for literal decades.
I can't. This is cracking me up. Who flies to another country with a different religion to find a husband? Exactly. You and me.
Ones that are really devout in their religion.
The ones that make you kiss a wall.
Just so you know, you can't ask questions about people's religions or fill in the blank. You can't ask questions, dum-dum.
As someone who is like, I'm sorry, I didn't even know, like, I grew up the Midwest though, so it really doesn't matter. There's nobody out there, so whatever. But I didn't know anybody of like many different religions. I wasn't flying out to find them either. Like I knew Protestants and I knew Catholics, and that was literally
I wasn't even religious.
Right. I just didn't go somewhere. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just find, like, I think maybe as a girl I'd be like, well, I mean, Italian. I'd like to go to Italy and maybe find an Italian, but it wouldn't be like to find a religion. It would be like
yeah.
And that's just a joke, but when you're a kid and you picture people being a certain way, like, okay, maybe
like, the French man who's riding his bicycle with his hat on, and he's gonna bring me power. Holy
yeah. Croissants, yes. Okay, funny story. We went to France and we went for one day and we saw this guy. This is horrible. I shouldn't be laughing, but it's too bad I'm laughing. He was walking.
You gotta laugh at life.
He was walking backwards on all fours on the sidewalk. And then we saw a bunch of shit. And then we saw a bunch of other things when we went there, because we were supposed to go for a couple of days. We literally went for one day and returned back to Germany because we're like, this place is psycho. The people, it was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it, and it smelled like pee everywhere. I could not believe this.
My little sister, is it gonna let me? Where's my little sister is always messaging me the wildest freaking TikToks, and I gotta find this one. It has nothing to do with anything except like the weird person you were just talking about. Now, this isn't necessarily a weird person. I think it's very clear after you have your little giggle about what it is as to what's actually going on. But his reaction and everything is so freaking funny. I gotta find it, so give me a second. You can fill in the gaps while I do it. It's not loading for me for some reason. Hold on.
Also, Crystal, yes, walking backwards on all four. I mean, you can try and picture that because the person's limbs were a little funky. But I literally mean this. I don't have any better way to say it. I didn't take a picture. That would be rude. But I've never seen anything like this in my life. Okay. So this makes sense to me. Yes. As a teenager in a fundamentalist church, my marital choices were limited to someone in my church. Yeah. that tracks. And actually, if you think about it, in the countries she went to, most of those people would be the exact same way. They have very strong doctrine against marrying outside of their religion. They call us certain names that we are versus who they are. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to go to that country for that. No offense to her, but I don't know if she's truly a Christian, which is I think what could be on the line here.
I can't get, like, of course the one time that like messages on here won't load for me. TikTok's so gay.
It's fake and gay. Well, it is
so
now
fucking dumb.
with new ownership. Okay, did you see this? And this is like more of a Christian problem, so sorry guys if some of you in here aren't. But it says US troops report commanders framing Iran war as God's plan. As first reported by independent journalist Jonathan Larson, a US combat unit commander told non-commissioned officers that the war on Iran is part of God's divine plan, allegedly claiming President Donald Trump was anointed by Jesus to ignite Armageddon. The complaint filed with the Military Religious Freedom Foundation is one of more than 110 logged within 48 hours from over 40 units across at least 30 installations. And I'm not going to go on. You get the gist. But what I had to say about it is, so you're telling me that the Christians who said no to the war in America, and everyone else, by the way, because it profits the secular state of Israel and no one else, are going to now be the cause of World War III because we want Armageddon. I'm pretty sure that's not what we said. So if you guys hear that story spinned up, I think it's disgusting, and it's a way to put the blame on everyone but our leaders, is all I'm saying. You shouldn't blame a religious group for war happening that happens at way higher levels than, whatever religion you follow. I think that's disgusting behavior. Okay. Whoop, whoop, 3. Oh yeah, you got your 3:30, by the way, Rogue.
I did? Yay!
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Clubber, one of my favorite commenters, by the way. I always die when you comment my stuff, so you just got a really good sub.
Yay, I love that.
Put it in the chat what Baron had the funniest take on it. Put that in the chat for me. What was it? Give me a baby summary, please. Sorry, hate to ask you to summarize something, but I may have missed this. Okay, yes, part of the end times BS the Zionists and dispensationalists believe. Yeah, I agree with that. And also apparently that other religion must believe it too, because they're who's pushing for that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they say they're secular. I have no idea. It gets too confusing.
All right, let's see if that worked.
Thank you guys for liking and subscribing. Yes, I agree, Rick. Also, hi, Rick. I've seen you in a couple of these lives. Glad you're here. Religion has been the cause of most wars. It's so true, but they want you to believe. So I should back that up. I agree. They just want you to believe it's something else. But it's so stupid. You can't blame. It's just a small minority of people that want that shit. I just believe that. It's comical that she thinks we are eating it up. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Who is we? Intentionally, will you give me a little bit more info here?
I assume referring to like Erika and Lies, but I don't
know. Tell me more. I want to hear more. I can't hype. I have all my hypes to Adfleet. That's okay. Yeah, we only get like 3. I don't know if you guys.
I can't get them yet. You have to have 500 subscribers. I realized that. I learned that.
Oh, really? Well, how many you can give, I think, is limited, is what I think it's like 3.
Yeah, I think you can. I think it is. I think you're correct. Mm-hmm. I'm sending this to our Discord chat, but I'll click on it if you don't have a TikTok to see if it lets me open it.
Okay. No, it's not. It's a majority of Christians who buy into this. It's a majority of the end times. Got you.
Oh no, not that.
Not wanting to die. Okay. And the desert for billionaires. All right, guys, give me 2 seconds. My dog's barking.
I hit the wrong thing. I'm such a fucking old person. Okay. All right. Let me open it and see if it'll open and let me. Okay.
Sorry, guys. My kiddo just came in. Is there any papers I can draw on? I'm like, yes.
Oh.
You know when you
here.
do whatever you want?
Yeah. Oh, I have a hilarious story about that. I'm gonna share my screen and you can click on it in a second.
I'm
Let me
ready.
just
I
see if I
agree.
find the
Not
right
wanting
one.
to die in
Yeah.
the desert for billionaires is anti-Semitic. Yeah, they just do it, in my opinion, for bloodshed, for their sicko thoughts to manipulate
Okay.
the market, crash economies. All right, ready?
Okay, can you see it? Okay,
but
so there's just a quick thing that happens right after. This guy's gonna talk about like a sandwich he got in like New York or something, okay?
I'm ready.
I just got a sandwich from Cello's. I don't know what's going on right there, but we're gonna go through that. We got Cello's vodka.
Let's go back. He just goes on with his review.
Is he in New York?
Yeah. Oh,
I just
why'd
got a
you do
sandwich
that?
from
Okay.
Cello's. I don't know what's going on right there, but we're gonna go through that. Right, we got
I don't know what's
Cello's
going on right
vodka
there.
sauce is so good. Cutlet's crispy.
The
bread
comments
is
are so
perfect.
funny because these people are all like, hold on.
I was laughing
And I-
so hard I messed up the whole view. I just clicked on like
It's so
3
funny.
different things.
Look at these comments.
Why are they
Yeah, cool
crawling?
sandwich. What the fuck is that? Why did we skip over that so quickly?
Why didn't he pan to the full
Y'all saw that
crawlers?
too, right?
Yes.
Hold on, go back a minute.
That's an only in New York thing and maybe France because like I said,
Clearly probably like people who are like the way he's like, I don't know what's going on right there, but I'm like, I love this guy.
whereas like I would be so involved. I'd be like,
But
oh
this
my
sandwich
god,
is
are you
really
guys
delicious.
okay?
He just goes, got it here. I don't know what's going on there. Like, holy shit. It's like a
Did we-
fucking zombie apocalypse.
Did we ever get a read on what was going on? Did he ever address the issue?
No, he never did. He never did. That was the whole thing. And I'm dying because like, nope.
No
Everyone's
one has.
like, hold on. Like all the memes are like, oh, wait a second, back up, turn around again.
Oh, I love
It's
it.
so
That's
funny.
that's too
So
much.
funny.
I love that.
I'm like, your algorithm is so screwed. She's got all these crazy ass like AI things where someone's taking a bite of something and their head turns into something. It's like, oh my god, they're so hard to watch. I'm like, what is wrong with your algorithm?
Wait, who
She's
is
like,
that?
it's probably my sister keeps sending me these. She goes, it's probably because I keep sending them to you, so it's like telling it I want some more. like that's all we do on there. I don't do anything else on there, but look at her crazy ass TikTok she finds.
That's so funny. I
So
don't
funny.
use TikTok. And so
I don't know what's going on back there, but
every time my
wanna
sister
know.
right. Every time my sister wants to send me a TikTok, she literally has to screen record it. And it's like
I was
the
like, I know
olden
you don't have
time.
one. There's no way. You never told me,
Yeah.
but I just knew. See?
Yeah, I'm weird. I don't even have an Instagram. I've got nothing. This is all I've got, people. I'm like the
Oh, it
old
was
dad
so
who's
funny.
like, you
That's
can
what I feel
barely
like
get me on
TikTok's
anything.
good for, just like weird, funny shit like that. Like that's it.
I love off the wall shit.
So good.
I've had 2 commenters say they want me to do a Tartaria series, and I will be. I'm announcing that today. I'm doing a Tartaria history series, and we are doing it. So just so
Do you
everyone
ever follow? I can see if I can find him because he has some of the. Actually, it could be fun to watch. He's got some of the best content, in my opinion. Let me go to Instagram.
Sander.
I see. So some of the people I follow, for sure, are mostly on like Facebook. You know, like there's certain people who are mostly on Facebook,
Mhm.
and then, but they do have Instagram a lot of the time too. And I'm pretty certain he does, and I really like his stuff. You've probably seen him sometimes just because it's not like he doesn't have a good following. He has a large following. But
Okay, she said that. She said you're talking about Erika. I was lost in the sauce intentionally. I'm sorry. I don't know if I had like a rabbit brain or something and I was just hopping along elsewhere, but sorry. Thank you for clarifying.
I think this might be it, but let me see. I'm going to try and find it first to make sure. Oh no, this is like a live. Never mind. Let me see.
I just read something that I have no idea if this is true. It says while the Middle East burns, the US just quietly launched military ops in Ecuador. What is going on in these streets? Does anyone hear
I'm
that?
telling you. What was it? Say it
It
again.
said, while the Middle East burns, the U.S. just quietly launched military ops in Ecuador. Southcom announces joint U.S. Ecuadorian operations against designated terrorist organizations inside Ecuador. The U.S. is fighting a war in the Middle East, watching its missile defense network get dismantled, and simultaneously opening up operations in South America. Has anyone heard this? Would love in the chat if you guys know any intel on Ecuador and why would we be there? And has anyone heard this? Could just be Twitter slop. Could be Twitter slop, but could be something.
I haven't heard that.
No, I haven't at all. So
it's gonna take me a minute to find the one I wanted to find, but it was because you were mentioning the Tartaria stuff. He had a really cool video that he made.
I love it. I think I told my viewers on one of my lives. I just bought a map with it on it, and I'm gonna get it framed. And I'll put it back here by my other map. That way I can like reference it when I'm looking into the history of all of that stuff.
I know. There's, you know, what's so funny too, because these are the kinds of things that people will be like, you're fucking crazy or whatever, right? But
I
like
don't
the
care.
moment, like this is why I love like the video I'm trying to find, because it's just like a highlight reel basically. So it's short and quick, but it's just very succinctly creates a question I don't think people can answer.
Right.
And, you know, I really enjoy that he covered it, and I wish I could find it.
That's okay. Someone posted, I think one of my buddies retweeted this on Twitter, but it was like, yes, some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice Israel is willing to make.
Yep.
Isn't that from like Shrek, but like just isn't that what Lord Farquaad says? That's why I like retweeted it.
Oh my god, you should ask Grok to make Trump into Lord Farquaad. Like a version of him that's like a Trump version, and then put that quote on there because that's hilarious.
That's a good idea. Oh no, okay, I'll do that. That's smart. I've never made a meme in my life.
Oh, it's easy.
Okay, literally, okay, I'm gonna put this on from 0. Likely old Donnie is working with the collective IQ of 11 1-year-old, basically a 1-year-old. Derp. Well, I mean, if he's not using any, like, okay, how's this? If Charlie Kirk was the only person stopping us from getting into a war with Iran, which is what other people have said and confirmed, not just Tucker, like JD Vance literally said it, then why in the heck are we in this war? Because you just thought one guy who was in his 30s, he would convince you, and then what, your just opinion changed that quickly after he had whatever conversation he had and made it so we didn't actually full on go into a war. I know some people think that's why he was eliminated. I have no idea. But I am gonna say that kind of proves like if you can be that easily swayed within less than a year from the last time you talked about it, and like Tucker went in several times to talk to him about it. If some people who have some voice of reason cannot move the needle, and you're listening to people who just want bloodshed, like your IQ was negative at that point.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes, Crystal. I do want to bring this up. TPUSA claimed literally 2 days ago Charlie would support this. Yes, they did. They said he would be mad in private, but in public support the president because they would trust him. Pretty sure he went pretty hard towards the end of his life on Iran being a basically no reason to go there. It'd be a stupid move. Why would we do that? Regime change war has never worked for us. Middle Eastern affairs is not where we need to be. It's not our business. Like, have you ever heard the term mind your business? Like, that's what they need to do. Just mind your business. Like, leave us out of it. I'm staying in my hemisphere. Like, I'm minding my business. Whatever Canada's doing, Mexico's doing, whatever's going, fine. I care about them. Whatever. But like, I don't need to know. All right, girl, let's see it.
I know. It's so good. Hold on. I gotta like stop that one.
0 said exactly. Donnie had to take CK off the board because BB has the dirt, and CK is responsible for getting DJT elected. Do the math. 100%. Allegedly. Favorite word of all time. All right, I'm adding you to the page.
All right. Let me just make sure the sound is up high enough. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Ready?
So you know how you go down these certain rabbit holes and there's no coming back. You take the red pill, no coming back. Especially politically. Currently, they're lying to us about most everything. And then you accidentally trip and fall down these rabbit holes about this old world. And then you realize that they are lying to us about everything.
Welcome to Kailasa Temple. This place is absolutely mind-blowing. Constructed in the 8th century by King Krishna the First. 8th century puts this around 1,100, 1,200 years old. This place defies modern history, archaeology, science, logic, everything. This place, technically, if you're a logical person, doesn't make sense and it shouldn't be here. How crazy is this, man? This is this is carved out of a single rock. This is nothing like any other temple on earth. Brother, this is like any other temple, right? They start at the bottom, they lay out the foundations, they get everything nice and square, nice and perfect. This is carved from the top down. This is basalt rock. This is harder than granite and marble. This is an extremely tough compound of stone. And if you look up what tools they had, as we all have been taught 1,200 years ago, they had hammers and chisels.
Yeah.
So that's correct. What you're looking at has been hammered and chiseled.
So you know how you go down these certain rabbit holes and there's no coming back. You take the red pill, no coming.
Yeah, I think when you look at that kind of stuff, it just makes you go like, they're lying.
Yeah, because
right?
you go, yeah, how? There's obviously like,
Tesla said it that, you know, like when you think about the universe, you have to think in sound and vibrations and energy. That's kind of how it works. So our ancestors knew that stuff. And what I think I've realized is there's been many great resets throughout our history. And then we keep relearning stuff and we have to keep relearning it. And then we have to go back into a great reset for whoever.
and I think
the
some of
powers
them
that
might
be.
be like a natural reset
Yeah,
that wasn't,
and some aren't.
you know, and some are forced. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and it's funny because it's like if you're going to go down a rabbit hole. I was reading this geography book. It was from the 1700s, and they had no question that Atlantis existed. They had it on a map. They knew exactly where it was, and now everyone thinks it's a myth, but this person talked about it, and he was a famous geographer, like it existed. Everyone knew it existed. And then there was also many other land masses that are completely underwater now, and our maps don't even look very similar to that time, which was the 1600s. So, you know, but they don't want you to know that geography can change that quickly, and they don't want you to believe in, you know, how
All it
great
would take
resets
is
can happen.
one meteor
Yes.
large enough to hit one meteor large enough to hit Earth that would cause such a debris to come into the air that would literally just kill everything on Earth and reset it. One meteor to hit the Earth at the right size to cause so much pollution in the air's atmosphere that everything would die. So unless we had underground, whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, this could absolutely have happened plenty of time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it
And
could
just
absolutely have happened.
the, you know, tectonic plates can move very quickly, whether
When
we
you
like
talk
that or
about like pollution from something like that in the air, you're now losing your source of food. You know, you lose, you know, these natural things that are growing. You're losing animals. You're losing people are going to die just from lack of, you know, necessities.
Yes. Also,
Stuffed
yeah.
hecklefish.
I need a stuffed
What
ethical
we-
fish. So
we-
the only merch
we'll
I
have to come
own
up with
at
something
all.
separate, like a I gotta think of something like a gel-filled worm instead of a hecklefish. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, we
something
need
else.
our own merch. But I actually own Wi-Fi merch, and I have a shirt. It says tinfoil shirt, and I love it. They are the only. I will probably buy the new Tucker Carlson merch though, because it was absolutely slapped.
I have one merch and it's Let's Read because he's like a narrator podcast. He's like my favorite.
Oh, I love that. But I just thought I'd say I'm such a big Wi-Fi fan that I
Me
did buy
too.
their merch.
I love. I was so excited when Sean Ryan interviewed him.
Yes. Well, I was super stoked when I saw him on Rogan. Then I knew he was
Yeah.
getting big. I was like, good.
Yeah.
Like, you
I
absolutely
love how
deserve
he
it.
does it. He's like a, when I want to watch something that's not heavy but also informative, and he obviously
Mhm.
does so much research, but it's also like warm and fuzzy. I don't
Yes.
know. I love it so much.
And some people get mad that he tries to debunk it at the end. And obviously, I think that's what a good researcher does. But also, you have to take some things with a grain of salt, right? He's going to try and debunk it the best he can. But also, it would be a liability if he accused these people of certain things that he's talking about, because he does get pretty deep into certain things. So, I think people are like, well, I get tired of him saying, but this is why it doesn't work. It's like, yeah, but he kind of has to say some of that stuff to some degree. You're allowed to make your own decision and an
Yeah.
opinion off of what he says. And with the information you might know more than he does.
I
or
had
different.
thought at one point I have a bearded dragon and I have a leopard gecko, and I was like, oh, it would be fun to have like my bearded dragon like on my shoulder and have him be like a mascot. His name is Nimbus. The leopard gecko, his name's Cornelius. He's like, that guy doesn't even look real. He looks like he's like a ceramic figure. He's got the most amazing colors. And when you hold him, he looks like he's smiling at you. Ugh, I love him so much.
Wait, yours? You have one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I was reading the chats. I just had a moment.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a bearded dragon and a leopard gecko.
How cute. Love that. I
think
just
I
have a
might
dog that
have a picture on here.
he's made surprisingly good. If you guys see me like looking around, he's still a puppy, so I'm like worried that he'll just eat a cord and then I go offline forever. But no, he's hidden somewhere around this vicinity.
Oh, maybe I didn't do it on there.
I love this. Okay, it will match my tinfoil Speedo. That's merch. That's merch zero. We get ourselves a little.
That's uncomfortable.
Yeah. we sell tinfoil panties. Like,
Thongs.
who else does that? It's like,
oh man.
Wow, you didn't need to take it that way, but we did.
Well, we were.
All right, I mean, come on, we got to blame zero here. He said Speedo. We just had to go where the natural
I mean,
went.
what can I do? I'm sorry. It's just how my brain works.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Do you remember when everyone
All
say
right,
that?
ready?
Sorry,
I'm gonna
not
show
sorry.
you. I'm gonna show you Cornelius because he's
Yes.
probably the cutest thing there is. Hold on.
I love that.
He's a little more shy. Nimbus, the bearded dragon, he's more social. But Cornelius, he's a little bit. Will it not let me share that one? Wait, let's do this. No. Oh, wait, here it is. He's so cute.
All right, I'm ready.
Look at his face.
Wait, I gotta add. Cute.
Isn't he
That's
so
our
cute?
mascot. That's our mascot.
He's so cute. I love
That
it.
is the cutest little thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
So
that's
my
Cornelius.
friend, she owns not owns, she co-owns a pest company in Florida. And people call her to get rid of the lizards. And she goes, that's the natural habitat.
People are so weird. I know
She's
some people hate them.
She said, she's like, there's nothing we can do. They're protected. You can't get rid of the lizards. Like,
My
and so we
father-in-law
get back to
always makes
lizard
fun
people.
of me for the lizards. They were my doing. Like my husband for sure was like, "What?" And now I'll come home and he's got like the bearded dragon on his head. My husband shaves his head bald, so it's like hot and warm. So I'll come home and Nimbus will just be on his head. But I'm like, "Oh, the lizard." But my father-in-law will always be like, "You know he doesn't love you, right?" I'm like, "You're such a dick."
That's cute.
I'm like,
I
"Well, I
love
feel
that.
like he does and I don't care."
This just got into story time. So guys,
I know.
feel free to stay around for this chatty hour. But I think I titled this one like yapping. Like I said, like something about yapping about whatever. So this is
but like I feel like people are still getting to know us, so it's whatever,
Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, he's a cutie patootie. I can find one of Nimbus if you want to see him too.
Wait, what made you decide to get lizards?
What was it? God
Like,
knows God knows what rabbit hole I decided to go down one day, like I'm a very spur of the moment person, so Cornelius we got first. But I don't know. I think part of it was my planty thing. Like I've told you, like I'm a huge plant person. So like I'm in like plant groups. I have rare plants. I've spent too much money on plants at times. And so it kind of naturally evolves into like people who create bioactive environments
Mm-hmm.
like that will grow and thrive on their own. They put like spring tails in there, like bugs that will eat like the bacteria. So it's like a constant cycle. And so once you kind of fall into that, you kind of fall into the reptiles, which can live in the bioactive environments. And then you don't have to clean their stuff so much because the bugs take care. Like it's just this whole thing. So I just kind of keep going and I go, yeah, more. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I have a theory that we all have like an alien animal we house. So my best friend had this dog and her name was Lily, and she could break into doors. She could sneak out of the house. She did weird shit for a dog. And anyway, we called her our resident alien. Well, after Lily died, then it was my family's turn. We have a dog, and I just call him like his name's Pipsqueak. He's tiny. He's 5 pounds. But he looks like a creature, and he's like our resident alien. It's like we did this for the family. Like, I don't know.
I'm
I
like,
just feel like everyone has
I'm
an
at this
alien
point where I'm
animal.
like, if I ever made it big and had money, like the wants I have are like, I want a plant room and like a reptile room. They could probably be combined, honestly, but like stacked terrariums with bioactive environments. And I'd be in like my happy place with my plants and my reptiles. But there's Nimbus. I just shared. You can share that one.
Oh yeah. I think if I were to get like, whatever I wanted in life, I would just have this big Beauty and the Beast library, and like it'd have a
Oh, a
ton of
library
old
would be so
texts.
cool.
Yeah, just like give me the Biltmore style library and I would be fine. Oh, how cute.
I do talk to my plants. Do you know that plants know when you're within like a quarter mile of your home and they perk up? They know when you're almost there.
No
And they
way.
will physically perk up. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. It's here. It's real. It's scientifically
Wow.
proven.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why are my little baby yellow roses in my room dying? I've watered them and talked kind of around them.
Well, it depends. Maybe you're watering them too much. Maybe they don't have enough light. There's all. I used to be like, oh, I kill plants. Like that's like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I think what I really realized was that I just never took time to learn what each plant needs. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so it was like you always heard that just water them once a week and you'll be fine. And I'm like, why am I killing these things? Well, because I'm watering them too much or I'm not watering them enough. Or let's see if I have any pictures of any of my plants. I've gotten rid of a lot. I don't have as many as I used to have, but they're just so cool. Some plants are so freaking cool, dude. And then you like get into this like rare plant that's like, oh shit, take my money. But they're fun. And it's fun because I can like do I do it with my kids, they'll help me
Mhm.
repot and
That's cute.
whatever. And it's fun. Yeah, it is. It's fun.
We have I got my kiddo a strawberry potted plant and blueberries for Valentine's Day because he loves like watching things grow. And we used to have a garden. He's like, I want the strawberries back. And I said, all right, buddy. So got a couple things growing, and they're alive. Thank gosh they didn't die with all
Oh
the
my
cold
gosh,
we've
I
had.
just saw a picture of an old cacti that I have, and it's grown so much, and I didn't realize it grew so much.
Okay, this is funny. You know the little white identifying tags I plant pots in planted pots. My wife
Yeah.
calls them future tombstones. I love that. I love your wife.
I had started an Instagram. I don't think I even have it anymore, but I had started an Instagram, and because I felt like I always killed plants my whole life, but I was determined not to, I named the channel The Last Plant on the Left, like the horror movie, The Last House on the Left.
Yes, I love that. I've bought my mom
But
a plant like every single Mother's Day or like some event, and they've all just collectively died almost every year. And I'll just replace it with a new plant. But my grandma has like such a green thumb. She can bring anything back to life.
Well, most
Um,
things you'd be surprised. Some you really think are like just goners for good, and then you're like, "Oh, no, it's fine. They can almost
I'll
always
come
come
back.
back. As
Yeah.
long as you got a node, you can make it work."
A node?
But yeah, like a node, like on the vine where they have like the
Mhm.
little nub like in between the leaves.
A
It's
nubby.
a node.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
And that's where the new leaves will like grow from when you're cutting and propagating a new plant.
I didn't know it was called a node.
Some of them are different. Some of them don't have nodes. Some are not like that type of a plant. Some grow from like corms that form in the root system, and you can pick the corms off and grow a new plant from it, or you can leave it there. It'll sometimes grow a plant from it and add to the plant you have.
Mhm.
But yeah, you just have to like learn about each one.
You are so brave to show your whole entire photo album on here. I can't.
I don't even think like
there's no way you could not catch me
these are
doing
like
that.
the kinds of plants that I would like. I love like these kinds of plants. These are called anthuriums.
Rick, thank you for confirming. I saw that, and I don't know if you heard it. I said it earlier, but I didn't know if this was true.
Yeah.
The U.S. has launched operations against narco-terror groups in Ecuador. Why are we like? What's our business with these people? I mean, can we just get like things that we may have voted for? Some need 2 nodes to grow. I didn't know that, Crystal. What, like, who needs 2 nodes to grow? But anyway, why do we care? Why do we care about like how is these things our problems? I don't know. I've just decided I just must be a homebody. I don't want to care about other
sometimes
people.
it's hard to tell if you have a node. Right now I'm doing that with one of them. I'm like, please grow back. I can't tell if you have something. But I just plopped it in water and we're going to pray and see if we get something.
Oh, I love that.
And then some you get like lucky. I got one that like is literally a stick of nothingness because I cut off the rest. So here's how it works. If you have a plant that has variegation, which is like kind of like this one where they have like the different coloring. See? Some are really like rarely variegated, and you can lose that variegation where like a new leaf will come in just completely green. And if there's no more variegation in the stem of that plant, from now on, it's going to be green. And so what you can do is then cut back all the way down to where there's still variegation in the stem and hope that a new node will grow out and have variegation on it again. So you can kind of like force it back. And I cut one back recently. And usually it's like when you cut it back, you'll probably get like 1 new node that will activate and give you a leaf. This sucker has freaking 4. And I was like, I've never seen that before.
That's awesome.
Okay, I feel like every day I look at it, I'm like, is it there yet? Is it there yet? Are you growing? How's it going?
You need to do a plant channel and also maybe work for like landscape.
I almost worked for like a greenhouse. Yeah,
greenhouse, something like that. I feel like, okay, here, let's see 0. If I scrolled through my photo gallery on stream, everyone would be like, why so many pictures of Home Depot tags and UPCs? If I scrolled through mine, you would see incessant amounts of thumbnails that I've tried to make because I somehow always save them to my photos, which goes to my phone instead of saving it to my device. It's just easier for me. But then I look like I'm a weirdo who keeps all of my own shit, but it's just because I'm just lazy and I don't want to go
lazy
back into my device.
That's a lot of mine too.
I like it really has nothing to do with me, everything to do with ease of systems.
You know, I suppose I probably shouldn't have scrolled through mine, but there's so much I don't think anybody would be able to do. There's too much there. Even I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? You would just catch me in something you don't want to catch me in. So that was brave of you.
Well, hopefully nobody did, but I don't think so.
I didn't see anything. I literally have I feel like my screenshots of stuff is weird and I'd have to talk about it to somebody.
Oh,
so,
I'm sure mine is. But also, I know
I would indict myself on weird stuff.
I also know that like my computer only has so much on it. Do you know what I mean?
Mine has everything.
Yes,
0. I didn't see any news.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to if you did. So God bless you if you did.
Oh my God.
I feel like they're you can unsubscribe. So I get it. They're back down to 329. Maybe even 315 if a lot of people joined in. Thankfully, no one's really watching it yet. So
they like what they like, Rogue. Okay. Why is it doing it again where you can't see our names? It did it again.
Oh yeah, that's weird. It just like fell off.
When we first came into the stream, it said, I wonder if it's because I have these on here. What if, oh yeah. When I put the comments on, these little things go away.
Oh, maybe just so like the screen isn't so chaotic looking. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or else it'd be kind of ugly. But that's just me. Literally gut laughing. Me too. Hey.
Although if I had gone on my Instagram, you would have seen like my my bodybuilding competition photos in like my little bikini.
No one would complain. I mean, I don't know how YouTube feels about it, but
They'd complain if they saw me in that thing now.
don't worry about it.
Be like, why are those guys throwing up? What's going on? Why am I nauseous all of a sudden?
Yeah, where'd this come from? Oh my gosh, too funny. Okay, so I want to go back to fighting about our hometowns. But remember how we were talking about fall where we are?
Yeah, mine's
Okay.
better. My
Yeah,
tree's
my
prettier.
tree's better. Yeah, we were fighting about our trees. That's how lame we are. We were fighting about our trees, and it was a prettier.
She's like, I love the fall, and I was like, I live in New England. That's
I
why
was like-
people come here to do. They call it leaf peeping. They
I
come
didn't know
here
that.
to do leaf peeping. Yes.
Well, we have the Blue Ridge Parkway, baby. We got the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Sorry,
you take
it's
a drive
just not
on
the
that.
same.
And people come for the Blue Ridge Parkway. But
For me too, like I was saying too, in that it's like the small old
Tinfoil bikini.
town, old cities. Tinfoil bikini's fucking amazing.
I can't. Well, we have an old one too. We have where I'm by is Andrew Jackson's hometown, and it's a cute little tiny.
I love it. Like
we've got
just
that
the other
stuff.
day, I took my son to a used bookstore, which is like in one of our downtown areas, and so this area is like on the water, and so there's like tugboats and cobblestone streets, but this bookstore is like sandwiched between two other companies, and it's literally like their house is off of it. Like there's a curtain closed and it's their kitchen. Like his wife's like making dinner while you're in their bookstore attached to the house. You know what I mean? Like it's so great. I love it.
I love that.
But tinfoil bikinis, hilarious.
I know, tinfoil bikinis, all that stuff. I'm like, I don't know if I have anything else. This stream went a long time. Good for us. Thank you guys for being here.
Wow. See, it
It's
goes
literally
fast
like
when you're having
midnight.
fun.
It is. My normal lives, if it's just me, would only be like an hour because it's, it's more fun with two people. So you guys are going to see
it is
us
like,
do this.
and then like, you know what happens too? You have one thing, like one audio blip, whatever, and then you're going, and you're panicking, and then you're like, you're tempted to just end it. Be like,
end it all.
Oh, something happened. Sorry, guys.
Well, I truly had so many. If you guys were here for my last live, I was getting StreamYard kicking me off, turning off my mic, kicked me out. I could tell that everyone was still in there, but it wouldn't let me do anything. It happened twice, and people still stayed in the stream. And so we just kept the energy.
Yes.
But that happened when you and me were doing it too. I was having audio, like I don't know.
And
what
you were
was going
gone,
on.
and then I hit end, and then it was still going because yours didn't actually end.
It didn't end.
So even though you disappeared. So yeah, who knows?
I was talking too much about the banking cabal. That's what happened. So the second I say that, I bet I'm going to get kicked again.
Keywords.
I said two words together.
You know what we should do is we should create like a key, like you would for like a map, and it'll be like the names for whatever whatever we're trying to say. We'll have like a keywords in the corner of the screen. So if we say one thing, they'll know we're talking about whatever.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Tartar.
Wait, where are we at? Because I hated. Oh yes, you're right. Love was there.
We can call it tartar sauce.
Yeah, tartar sauce. Yeah, I think they don't like that topic. Someone in the old world is still being monitored, y'all, even though we are in 2026. But yeah, I did get a lot of people
everything food names. We'll have to come up with food names for everything. Like something can be falafel and like,
Okay, I have another
gyros.
thought. Okay, we need to talk about this word really quick. Benjamin, Net, and Yamasham, whatever. We'll make a new name for the last name. He went to school there in this place exactly. I just saw a video. I just saw this. So like when Coach was calling it Philadelphia, he was just literally on target. They're like, did you know he went to school in this exact place? I'm like, I mean, you can't make that shit up if you tried. I don't think he knew that. I mean, from all intent, for all I could tell. But I think
we just find like a food item from every place and we call it like,
yeah,
like falafel or like,
yeah, seriously.
What's that weird shit in Canada with the gravy and the French fries? What do they call it? Poutine?
Poutine, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we can
Poutine.
we can make a little list and create a key for the upper corner of the screen
Yes.
so people will know what we're talking about.
That'd be smart. Well, it's old. It's like kind of old world Russia even. It's like that area. So we could think of some of their foods and just like
Yeah.
go from there.
Or just like funny stuff, like like it would be funny to just think of like funny random things, you know, like something that went viral that was from this kind, you know, like some stupid ass cartoon or something. It'll
Right.
be like one of those things where all of a sudden people are like, this is like hate speech, and we'll be like, we did that.
Talking about history. It's hate speech. Like
I think Jesse was talking about something the other day about that frog meme that was like deemed as like
okay.
hate speech. Yeah. It'll be like that.
Oh, because the
Like-
Groypers use it.
Yes,
They go
yeah.
off with that. The Groypers
You
go.
can't
I
talk about
actually makes me
falafel.
laugh.
You can't talk about poutine. You can't talk about fish and chips.
Is
That's
that
all hate speech. No,
really?
like we can do that.
Oh.
That's the power we can have.
Oh.
How does it feel? How does that power feel? Do you feel it? I can feel it. Now I understand.
I am scared. That's too funny. Yeah, I guess that's all I have. You got anything else that you wanted to chit chat about, Yam?
I mean, you know, I can keep talking, but no, nothing specific.
Nothing specific. I probably better make sure.
Nothing
everyone's alive.
Pacific.
Nothing Pacific.
I pacifically told you.
I think that would drive me crazy if I talked to somebody who said that.
I had
all
a
the
friend
time.
who used to say that, and I was like, oh, I can't bring myself to do it though.
That would
Or library. Library.
Okay. I
I
grew up and my sister could never say her R's, and now my kiddo has some R issues.
I love the shit they say.
And it's so funny. So you're just like, just keep saying it. You'll get it right one day. Yeah, thank you guys. This was super fun.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
for all the support. Big shout out to Zero as well, because absolutely slaying the chat.
Like, yeah.
You could totally
he's like our pep.
He's our hype.
Yeah.
He's such a
hype
such a
man.
Fun, yeah, hype dude. Yeah. I love it. Cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Lots of fun.
Yeah. We'll do it again soon, later. I'm sure.
Yeah. Bye, y'all.
Cool. Bye, everybody.